Welcome to an all-new live, the Ann Lynn Show. We're back, and we have Alicia, Country Mama Musings. You are going to love Alicia, and we are going to have to ask her, where did she get that crown? But first, here are Ann and Lynn. We're back!
We're live.
Dance time.
Come on,
Hello.
Hi.
It's 2 p.m. Eastern.
We're here. Where are you? Come and join us.
Come on.
Come on in, everyone, and join us.
Join the party. Come on.
Welcome.
Hello, Lynn.
Hi, DeGurley. Welcome.
Welcome.
That's right. Hey.
Hey, we're back. Did you miss us? Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
That's right. Did you?
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Ann and I were together, and we had a really nice Thanksgiving.
Yes, we did. We had a great Thanksgiving. I was able to go home. Dave and I got in the car, and we made it in time, and we had a nice Thanksgiving and stayed for a few days, and then come on back, and we came home to snow.
I know.
It was really nice when we left, and we came back, and there was about 4 inches of snow on the ground, and it just kept coming. But now it's going to warm up and rain tomorrow, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, here we're. I've not been able to volunteer at the library for a couple of weeks now.
Catch your breath there.
It started off with a little bit of bronchitis, and I think it's a little bit of allergies and all that drainage. So anyway, I am looking forward to just getting over this stuff here.
I know. You've got to get over it.
So you can add me to the Ann Lynn prayer list, and I want you to know we pray. We lift up these prayers every night, and we have some others that have been added to the prayer list. Our friend Jerry,
yes,
her husband, she lost her husband about 2 weeks ago, and so we pray for our friend Jerry and her family, and there's just been a lot of need for prayer lately.
There has been. I'm
just one of them.
Well, we got to get our coffee mugs up.
I have my.
You got your coffee mug? All right, ready? Got to do our coffee clink.
1, 2, 3.
Your
clink.
Clink. Clank. I think that was more of a clank.
That was a clanker.
That was a clank.
Well, everyone should have hopefully been receiving their notifications.
I know. I think when we took a week off, I think that, they just think, well, they're not coming back.
Oh, we're coming back. And DeGurley, thank you so much. She said we both look beautiful.
Thank you.
This morning,
I'm doing my Marlo Thomas look today. If anybody knows that girl, I'm doing my that girl. I don't think anybody
And I want
knows
to
what.
say, we look a lot better than that live that came out this morning.
Oh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yes.
are you okay? Are you okay?
If I have to get up and leave for a minute, I will. I don't think anyone's going to care.
Okay. Okay. Well, without further ado, I think we need to bring our special guest on.
Oh, absolutely. This is a real
exciting. I'm excited.
I am too.
I am excited. And
I have to kind of keep it down a little bit, or I'll start coughing.
Yeah. Okay. Just control yourself, Lynn. Control yourself.
Hi,
Okay.
Southern Sandy. Hello there. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Well, without further ado, here comes our guest, Miss Alicia.
Yes, Alicia.
Country Mama Musings herself.
Yay!
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 Oh, look at her. Oh my gosh.
I wore my crown for you.
Oh, look how beautiful.
I'm sitting all proper and everything, legs crossed at the ankles.
Oh, very good. And you got the wave.
I've got, ladies, here's the trick to the wave if you're ever in a parade.
Okay.
It's elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, wrist. Wipe a tear, blow a kiss.
Elbow, wrist, wrist.
Okay. Elbow, elbow.
Elbow, elbow. Wrist, wrist. Wipe a tear.
Wipe a tear. Blow a kiss.
Oh, here we are.
If you're ever in a parade,
yes.
Just say that to yourself. Elbow,
elbow,
wrist, wrist.
elbow, wrist, wrist.
Wipe a tear.
Okay, and a little group is at the end.
Yes. I won't be able to balance this up here for the entire show, but
it is beautiful. It's beautiful, and I know you have another one, don't you?
I do. It's buried under a
Let's see and I want to hear the stories behind.
You want to hear the stories? Well, I will tell you that this is the same crown that Miss Universe has with the globe and the rhinestones. This is actually hers. I saw her in a parking lot. I tripped her. And just kidding. Just kidding.
You just took it right off of her, didn't you?
I did. And it's so difficult to see where I'm at. This is my my first, and it's difficult with my background behind me here. I had become very involved in the community where I was living, and I had had my fourth child, and I had worked really, really hard to lose some weight. And I thought, what am I going to do? I've lost all this weight, and I need to celebrate it. And I grew up in a very rural mountain community where I didn't really get to do anything growing up as a teenager. Oh. And so I went 2 hours each way down off the mountain to go to school. So I didn't get to stay for pep rally or be a cheerleader or do anything fun like that.
Wow.
So I thought after those 4 kids and I lost that weight, I saw an ad for a beauty pageant to be the Ms. representative of our city. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give that a try. And so I entered my first pageant and did not take home the crown. And so, but that just gave me more resolve to polish up on my interview skills and my modeling and my walking. And I went back for my second attempt, and I was the 50th annual Mrs. Hemet, California.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
And so that's what this crown was. And I loved it. I got to go on so many fun things in our community and represent them. Just had a wonderful, wonderful time. And then I was able to represent my community and go to a national pageant in Las Vegas. Ooh. And I took that title there. So this is my national crown.
Oh, wow. So, I didn't bring my crown. You've got your crown, Lynn. I think I'm going to have to go get it.
You're going to have to go get a little tiara or something and put it on.
Okay.
So,
that is just.
But so much fun. And I had such a wonderful time. And it really gave me the opportunity to be involved in my community and get the kids involved in our community and do fundraisers and ribbon cutting.
Did you see my Santa Claus?
Just fun stuff. I see him back there. He's lurking. He's lurking.
Santa Claus is hanging out with me.
So you ladies caught me cleaning the other day, cleaning my craft room, and I had these out, was talking about them, and you put it in your little promo, and I thought, I need to wear a crown when I come live.
It's not as pretty as yours.
Oh, I have one like that that's purple.
But there's my crown.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely.
Do you think I could win Mrs. Grandma.
You certainly could. Some, some communities do have a
grandma
category
contests
for us senior ladies.
Oh, there, look, he beautiful, Lynn.
You know what they say? If you see a woman and her crown is crooked, don't tell her it's crooked. Just help her straighten it out. Because this is my life these days. This is it right here.
Well, I saw the video and you told about the crown, and I thought, we gotta wear our crowns too. And that's just
so exciting.
Beautiful, exciting. Yes.
That was really
awesome.
an exciting time. And you had 4 children then?
Yeah. 4 children.
Oh my.
And they would go to a lot of the events with me, and I just involved my family as much as I could, and I loved it.
Oh, I can imagine they did. It was like, our mom she's a superhero.
Yeah.
I think some of the highlights were I was invited to the 50th anniversary of the USO, and it was a tribute to Bob Hope. And unfortunately, he had to attend via television because he was too ill at that time.
Right.
But
I was going to ask you,
people that I got to rub elbows with that day, and just had a lot of fun to be on an Air Force base and celebrate the USO, and was there with Miss USO Karen Koch, and now you said earlier you were wearing your Marlo Thomas hair flip, and I know who that girl is.
Yeah.
But do you all remember Phil Silvers?
Yeah.
Phil Silvers was married to a Miss America, and I got to hang out with her one day. That was really
cool. I loved Phil Silvers as a young person growing up. Oh, yeah. Funny.
So,
very funny.
I went from that point, I was able to then judge pageants. I was a judge for some Miss California preliminaries for the USA pageant system, Hawaiian Tropic. That was so much fun. And I really met some really interesting people there. And I really, really enjoyed that chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you are like, we had RE55 on. He is a gentleman he's a sky watcher, and he was a railroad engineer for 30 plus years. And we call him our Renaissance man. And I think we have to call you our Renaissance lady, because you've just been into so many different genres of things.
Of life.
So I think you're our Renaissance lady.
I'm an enigma.
Is that what it is?
I thought that's what me and Lynn were.
Look at us, birds of a feather.
I do want to say good afternoon to our friends out there.
Yes.
I see Gail Southern Living is here, and Free Handling Made is here, and DeGurley is here, and there's others. They're just not in the chat.
And let's see here. Hold on.
Just get my hair fixed.
Just the chat. Southern Sandy is here.
Who?
Southern Sandy.
Oh.
Now, Gail said, I want to read this. Gail said, I modeled for a local store once at the mall with my sister.
Isn't that fun?
It's wow.
So fun.
Oh my gosh.
When I was I don't know how old I was, probably about 13, my girlfriend and I took Sears modeling school. Sears, was it Sears? Lynn,
yes.
What was that store that was in the, was it? No, it was, I can't think of the name of it. Over in, when we were little girls, and we go to the mall, what was the big store that was on the end of that we always went to?
It was Sears.
Was it Sears? No.
You're right. Well, there's always like Montgomery Ward.
That was it. It was Monkey Ward's.
There's Sears or Montgomery Ward.
It was Montgomery Ward's. They had a modeling class for young ladies, and it was it was manners. It was like a couple of Saturdays, and then they let us go pick out an outfit in the store. And then they had a little modeling. We modeled our outfits. I think I was about 13.
You did your little turn on the catwalk?
Yes. And they gave us a manicure set. I think, of course, you paid for this thing, but my girlfriend and I did it. And her sister, the three of us did it. And then we modeled. So that was my little, but.
See, I didn't get that as a kid. So as, when I had that last baby and lost the baby weight, I thought I just need to do something fun. And then I was bitten by the bug.
Wow. Oh, that is. I want to welcome B and B home. Hi.
Oh, hi, B&B.
Oh,
Granny kisses. Wow.
I need to put on my glasses. Here comes the granny glasses for this girl.
And B&B has a tiara also.
Oh,
It says, it makes you feel great.
Confession. Yes. Sometimes I put mine on and go out and feed my chickens.
Oh. Did you hear that, girly? Guess what you're getting for Christmas?
Yeah, you need to get a tiara or a crown.
Every girl needs a tiara. Every girl needs one.
Yeah, because it just makes you put your shoulders back and you just feel like you're something.
Yeah.
So, you just do all kinds of stuff over on your channel.
Yeah.
You craft and you cook. And what else do you do over there?
Oh, goodness. Home renovation. We're in a 1902 farmhouse that we purchased almost 8 years ago. And it was in very serious disrepair when we moved in. The room I'm in now had actually had fires set in it, and it had lath and plaster hanging off the walls.
Oh, my goodness.
So room by room, we've been renovating this old home, and we just love it here. Oh. And like you said, I do different types of crafting. I will be quite honest with you. I am one of those ladies that did not realize until later in life that I actually have adult ADD. And I'm not making light of that. It is very true. I have a tendency of going, oh, that looks like fun. And I will work on it. And then it's like, oh, look at this over here. And then I'll paint. And then it's like, oh, look at this. And then I'll do something else. And I will finish a lot of projects, but then I move on to something else. And then I have to go back. So I was actually, you said I do a lot of things in my life. I was actually a paraprofessional for severely disabled students at a school district that I worked at. And they had sent me to a conference for paraeducators. And I attended this workshop about how to better understand your students. And they did this exercise where everybody stood up and one by one, they would pose questions. Do you read more than one book at a time? If you do, stay standing up. Do you do more than one project at a time? Do you lose your glasses or your keys? And they went through all these things. And one by one, people would sit down. There was about 300 of us. And at the very end, there's like 3 of us standing up. And I'm like, I'm going to win a gift basket. And they said, to those of you who are still standing, I'm like, yeah, me right here. That's it. I'm the bomb. They said, more than likely you have adult attention deficit disorder.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, do I still get a gift basket? No, I just wanted to let you know.
Did you do some more research or discuss it with a physician, or how did you go?
No, but I mean, the signs are there. So I just embrace it and go with it and realize I'm just quirky that way. But I recognize it. It's true.
And you had a cancer story.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
We moved here to Iowa in 2013, and we got this farmhouse and we started working on it. And in 2014, I started feeling uncomfortable and not quite feeling myself. And I thought I was having some gallbladder attacks or some heart issues or something. And my brother's a nurse, and I would pose questions to him. It's like, I don't feel good here. I don't feel good there. And he would listen to my heart, and he says, I think you probably look fine. You're good. And I didn't have insurance for the first year we lived out here. Just got insurance, went out for onion rings with my son, and I was so bloated, I couldn't get into the table.
Oh, my.
I couldn't get in the booth to fit in the table. I thought, I'm so bloated. And my sister and I had even gone shopping for some clothes, and I just had this big round knot in my belly.
Oh.
And she goes, boy, that looks weird. And I thought, yeah, it does too. But I really, truly thought, I'm living a good country life.
Yeah.
We're roasting corn. We're having family potlucks. I'm not living in that mentality of California anymore, where you have to be skinny, and I could just be comfortable to be myself. And I just thought I was getting fat. Well, I had those onion rings, and that night I ended up in the emergency room, and I declared I would never eat another onion ring again as long as I live, because I was in so much pain. And after the test, they came into my room at about 5 a.m. They said, you have a mass in your belly.
Oh, my.
And you have fluid in your belly.
Oh, goodness.
And we're going to get you admitted upstairs. We're going to drain the fluid off tomorrow, and maybe in a few days we'll do surgery and check out that mass. Well, by the time they got me upstairs, more lab results had come in.
Oh.
And this is on the 4th of July. There were no surgeons really available to me, so they called someone in.
Sure.
That tumor had twisted and had become septic. So I was dying. So it's a good thing I went in.
Yes.
And I asked the doctor, I say, when you say large, you mean large like a grapefruit? And he said, no, it's large like a watermelon. And
Alicia.
I'd been walking around just thinking I was just fat and sassy. And so had emergency surgery. And within the next week, I was getting a port placed in my chest for chemotherapy. And a couple weeks after that, I started chemotherapy. And the whole time, I just tried to really keep an attitude of humor,
yes,
and gratefulness. And I would always put anything I put on social media, I'd always finish it up with a hashtag still smiling. And I really think that a diagnosis like that, if you don't have that attitude,
yes,
you're just going to go down a road of gloom and doom. And I chose not to do that.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, your attitude does play a big part in your overall wellness. I believe that. I really do.
And I had a lot of fun. I mean, I wore Cabbage Patch wigs up to the cancer center. And one of the chemotherapies I was on a specific cocktail. And one of them makes you have to get up and pee every 30 minutes.
Oh.
And so you have to unplug all of your things and take that pole with you into the bathroom. And I pushed it out into the middle of the cancer center, and I stood up on it and I pole danced for everybody.
Oh,
why not?
Oh my goodness.
With my Cabbage Patch wig.
What does your husband think about you? Or your children?
I think after all this time, he's just learned to go with the flow. He knows that I'm the social butterfly. He's more of the wallflower.
Okay.
And so he just lets me do my thing. And sometimes he just sits back and shakes his head. I have a terrible, terrible habit of when we are out in public somewhere, if I see a large family having a wonderful get together,
yes,
I just join in. I just join in. And there's been times where I will literally run across a street to a restaurant where there's a family gathered outside a restaurant. And I'll just walk up to the matriarch and put my hands out and ask for a hug.
Oh,
people are like, who are you? And I get my hug. I get lots of love from those families, and then I leave. But you know what? I like to think that years later, somebody's going to, like at that matriarch, maybe they'll be at her funeral and they'll be standing around her casket and they'll say, do you remember that time? Remember that time we were with Grandma and we were at that restaurant and that really weird white lady ran up and just turned her into your family? Because I will tell you, I was the only white woman on the block that day. And that's why everybody was like, who are you? But I will just jump right in on family reunions and just make myself right at home. And my husband just stands back and goes, oh, she's at it again. But they're going to remember that.
Yeah, you've gonna that people are gonna remember you. That's for sure.
That's it. And I think that's the legacy I want to leave. I want it to be that, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie Big Fish. If
I haven't.
I have. It's been a while, but yes, Big Fish. Yeah. Absolutely.
Big Fish. Wonderful movie. And that right there is how I want to live my life. Although all my stories are true. His stories were embellished. My stories are true.
Right.
But I want it to be that when my time on earth is done and my friends and family get together, I want them to say, do you remember that time? Do you remember that time when she did this? Or do you remember that time when she did that? She was so crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I want it to be. I want it to be just a time of storytelling, of just the funny, obnoxious, weird things I've done, like pole dancing in the middle of a cancer center. Or the polka. I did the polka too.
Oh my gosh.
It's just so much fun.
But now you are, and you have been cancer free for a long time, right?
I had my last treatment at the end of 2015, and all of my scans since then show that there is no evidence of disease. I don't get to use the word cure, and I don't get to use the word cancer free, but I do get to use the term NED, which is no evidence of disease, because when I told you I had the fluid in my belly, that fluid was full of cancer. So that's been picked up by my lymphatic system and carried throughout my entire body, as well as my blood system. So it's there. It's just behaving itself.
Yes.
So the trick is to get it to behave. And the longer it behaves itself, the less chance I have of a recurrence.
Great.
Great.
So I will be starting. I've been discussing this with some of my YouTube family. Is I'm going to be starting a second channel. Okay. And we didn't discuss this earlier. This is just off the cuff.
Yeah.
I am going to be starting a second channel, and it is only going to be ovarian cancer related for that woman that just gets a diagnosis and searches on YouTube ovarian cancer, that'll pop up. And I want to be a friendly face that has tips about how to navigate this and just give them some love and support, about ports and chemo and what to expect. And I know I had one friend say, I don't know if I have time to support 2 channels. I hope you never have to visit that channel.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't want you to support that channel. I don't expect you to watch the videos and do the likes and the thumbs up. But if you ever know somebody that gets that diagnosis, I want somebody to say, go over to this channel.
Yeah.
And she will take you step by step through what her experiences was, and that will help you a little bit. And I'm very grateful that I knew 2 women before my diagnosis that, because of their strength and their attitude and their approach, it really helped me with my diagnosis and my journey. So I want to be that for somebody else.
Well, I want to read what B&B Home has written. It says, bless you, Alicia, country mama. I am a breast cancer survivor, 2 years.
Oh my.
Good attitude heals you faster.
Yes, and it does.
And
now, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I did go down those dark rabbit holes every once in a while. It's only natural.
Yeah.
Right.
I really did do my best to stay positive. So I will share with you ladies and any of the ladies in the group, including, B&B. Many people don't realize this, but ovarian cancer and breast cancer are sisters, and they love to hang out. They love to hang out. So either you ladies or anybody in the chat, if you have a family history of breast cancer, you need to be aware of really watching out for ovarian cancer, and then vice versa. So keep that in mind if you have a history.
Yes.
That's okay.
And ovarian cancer is often referred to as the silent killer because your symptoms, I mean, as ladies in this group here, how many of us haven't been bloated?
Right.
Haven't been tired.
Yeah.
Don't get up in the middle of the night to pee. I mean, these are all symptoms. And I just thought it was because I was getting older and being fat and sassy.
Wow.
And surprise.
Well, I am so we're blessed that you're here today. We're thankful for you for being well, and we're just glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so you are our Renaissance lady. You are.
Yes. Wear it with pride. I will wear it with pride.
And we got some more new people that popped in. Shastina is great. Shastina always gives me thumbs up on God's promises for you. And I see Shastina on Twitter too. And I see her around, and I just want to say, Granny kisses, Shastina.
Shastina.
I'm so glad you're here. Yes. And hunting and stuff with Jay and Jay.
Welcome.
What a cool name.
Let's give that to Granny kisses.
I know we may have to have hunting on to find out what the stuff is.
Now, do you ladies see what happened to my hair just now?
It went.
You see this little part right here, ladies? When you're out and about and your hair just kind of does this, just know it's this little bit right here that makes you sexy.
Oh, just leave it.
This is your little sexy strand.
Just leave it there.
Just embrace it.
Ooh, I couldn't do that. Sorry. I couldn't do it.
Okay, I won't. There we go.
Shastina. Shastina. Well, we have, over on Alicia's channel.
Yes.
She does these little things, and one is called Quickies.
Country Mama Quickies.
And we were on her channel, and we did a quickie with her.
Yes, we did.
So you want to explain what a quickie is, Alicia?
I will. Just like you ladies are doing an interview session here with me today, and I'm here as your guest, I wanted to do an interview session with some of my subscribers and some of my YouTube family. And I couldn't think of a good name for my interview session. And I was discussing it with a friend of mine. And I said, I don't want it to be the traditional homesteading interview panel that we've all kind of been going in this homesteading group that I'm in, because it was the same questions and they're valid questions, but I wanted to go different. It wasn't, tell us about your farm. What animals do you have?
Sure. Right.
I wanted it to be a little something different. And I said, I want to do a rapid fire. I want to do a rapid fire off the wall questions and have a time limit on it. And I said, but I can't think of what to call it. And my husband was like, how about off the cuff or this or that? And I was back and forth with my friend. I said, it's got to be quick. And then it dawned on me, Country Mama Quickies. And I love the innuendo in it. I mean, who wouldn't be quickie?
Oh, it's a little racy.
It's a little racy because we always start our interviews with just 4 questions. And the 4 questions and facts about yourself, that's our foreplay.
Oh, my God.
That's how you are.
Well,
you just clutch your pearls. It's a pearl clutching moment.
We're going to turn the table on you.
The tables are turned.
And we're going to have, and Lynn's going to give you these questions.
All right. Are you ready? Here we
go. It's rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Okay. Favorite drink?
My favorite drink. Are we talking just a drink or an alcoholic adult beverage?
We're just talking favorite drink.
I love a good Midori colada. Ooh. And if you've never had a Midori colada, they are so delicious, and you can get them as a virgin without the alcohol in it.
What's in them?
Oh, Midori is it's a melon liqueur that tastes like honeydew. And then you mix that with your components for a pina colada. So it's honeydew, pineapple, and coconut.
Ooh,
and it's
tropical.
So good with the whipped cream on top. I just love Midori coladas. I've learned that my limit is 2 because if I have 3, you find me later asleep in my chili.
Okay,
true story.
Cookies or pies?
Cookies or pies. Oh, put a pie in front of me and I'll eat some pie.
All right.
What kind of pie? Wait a minute. What kind of pie?
Okay. I have a penchant for cherry pie, peach pie, but my all-time favorite is Starman pie. Does anybody know what Starman pie is?
No, what is Starman pie?
Did you ever watch the 1980s movie with Jeff Bridges called Starman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he was an alien?
Yes.
And they stopped at the truck stop and they had Dutch apple pie. And so ever since then, we've called it Starman pie. It is my all-time favorite because it makes me think of my mother because she always called it Starman pie.
Aww.
I think cameraman watched that the other night because he said to me, "You remember Starman?"
Yeah.
He said, "Do you remember Starman?" Okay, here we go. Next question: race car or minivan?
Oh, put me in a race car. I used to have a convertible Mustang G6, throaty exhaust. I got a speeding ticket in it. On my birthday, no less.
Oh, no.
Oh, what a birthday gift.
Was it your car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Go, mama, go, mama.
That's
it. Go. Okay. Antiques or modern?
Oh, antiques.
Oh, girl.
Especially living in a 1902 farmhouse.
Antiques.
Gotta have the antiques.
Okay. Winter or summer?
I love winter.
Me too. Yeah, high five.
I love winter. Another high five. I know people say you love winter because you don't have to go out into the snow as much as we do because we work and you get to stay home in the toasty house.
Right.
But I just love the snow. And I don't know. I love living in Iowa and I love the winter.
Oh, that's
I don't like being hot. You can always put more clothes on.
That's how I feel.
Hot, there's only so many you can take off.
But,
that's exactly.
Us women can't go around, with our shirt off, like the men do in the summer. I mean, geez.
You could. I mean, you could.
I do.
Yeah, you try to make it out your front door.
My chickens blush.
Okay, Ann, are you ready for?
Well, you missed a few. Next? You missed a few.
Well, okay. What's the furthest you've traveled? What's the furthest distance you've traveled?
The furthest distance I've traveled was when I was 12 years old. My family and I went to Guatemala.
Oh.
And went up into the jungles of Guatemala on a missionary trip. Where at the age of 12, my mother assisted me in delivering a baby.
Oh.
Wow.
So that's the farthest I've ever traveled, is to the jungles of Guatemala.
And you helped to deliver a baby?
I delivered a baby.
I have I've never been in a delivery room other than my own.
My mother stood behind me and she wrapped her arms around my arms, and I delivered a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And when I say I delivered a baby, it's not like I went into a hospital and delivered a baby.
No,
this was a card table and a 5-gallon bucket with open windows in the jungle.
Oh my. Oh my gosh.
Okay, one more question. Goats or chickens?
I've had both.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love my goats, but they're destructive little stinkers. I'm going to have to go with my chickens. I love my chickens. They're all named Betty. And so when I say, come here, Betty, they all come running and they give me butt nuggets.
Oh,
my goats gave me heartache, but my chickens give me butt nuggets.
I think that may be what the girly calls them too.
Yeah, she's like, yay, chickens.
Yay, chickens. And hey, fresh eggs.
And hey, Helen is here. Come on, we have to.
Oh, hello, Helen.
Helen. This is too. I don't know
you have you here.
Kiss.
Okay, now we're gonna switch gears.
Okay.
Because you do a thing called Afternoon Delight. Is that right?
Yes, I had you ladies over for my first Afternoon Delight.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we're going to do something called Midday Muffin.
Oh my Lord.
How do you like that?
Have you ever seen Betty White's skit about muffins?
No.
I'll behave myself and I'll leave it at that.
I'll have to look it up now. No. Oh, that's funny.
It's a midday muffin.
Okay, we're doing midday. Okay, now these are okay. So the Afternoon Delight was a little bit,
I know.
And these are a little too. All right.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, for us it is.
Okay,
but bidet or standard toilet.
On a trip to Mexico, they had bidets. I think they're quite lovely and useful. But where I live now, I don't think you could pay me to use a bidet because the toilet plumbing is on the outside wall. And when it's 50 degrees below zero, that water coming up from the well, that would be a frozen tush. That would just be, it would. I'd freeze to the toilet. It wouldn't be true. I'm just going to have to go standard at this stage of my life. Now, if I'm on vacation, you might be any day.
You might be able to put a little heater on it, like a little
That's
tankless
a big
heater.
Might.
They might have them that have warmers on them. I don't know.
Well,
but I hadn't thought about it being cold. Okay, here's the next one. Swing or slide?
Oh. This mama's got a swing. It's true. And I even have a swing out there for my chickens because my chickens are swingers too.
And you know what I forgot to do is I forgot to play music because you play music when you do these.
I do. Are we going to have some like 1970s brown cow?
Oh, I don't know if I can.
That's some barnyard music.
I've got the YouTube music, and it's not the most, let's see. I got to find something real quick.
Yay!
Where'd you go? I didn't even miss. Sorry, I didn't miss you.
Chestina, I've got a little bit of bronchitis and allergy going, and so yes, but just in general, when we laugh, absolutely. My daughter-in-law says we hack up a lung.
Yeah. I do too. And then if I really get laughing, then my asthma kicks in and I sound like that dog from the cartoons. Remember the Hanna-Barbera cartoons with the dog, Snidely or something that would you just wheeze and laugh. That's how I sound.
Yeah. Okay, now that's a little bluesy there.
Whatever sets
come on. You made me come on.
You ready?
Whatever sets the mood for my swinging chickens.
Soup or salad?
Oh, again, it depends on what season you're in, but I do love me a good salad.
Okay.
However, if you ever get the chance and you have an Instant Pot, you should make some homemade butternut soup in your Instant Pot.
Oh, that sounds good.
Little cream in there, little cream.
Yes.
Little butter.
Okay.
But I do love a good French onion soup too.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with salad.
Yeah.
But a French onion soup.
Love the French onion. Ooh.
Yeah. Can you hear the music, or am I just dancing by myself?
I can hear it. One of my favorite lunches when I used to live in California was to go to a place and they had a lunch special, and it was a wedged salad. French onion soup. So that was my favorite lunch. So there's the combo. Look, I'm being sexy again, just talking about soup.
There it is. It's just natural.
It is.
Oh, okay. Now this one you have to think hard on.
Oh boy.
Hard on?
Yeah.
Smooth or bumpy?
Ooh, are we talking peanut butter? Are we talking about?
Do you have bumpy peanut butter at your house? You have bumpy peanut butter?
I have bumpy and smooth. I've got a bumpy and a smooth mattress.
Oh, yes.
But if we're talking a textural thing, I love smooth surfaces.
Smooth. Okay, smooth.
Yeah.
Dear Girly wrote, "Mom, you're dancing alone." I'm dancing alone.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad Major isn't here today.
Major, shake up to the nose.
The Major, where are you? He's probably, if he's watching the playback,
he's lurking.
Where are you?
We missed you.
And then I have one more, and
only one?
Yeah, I'm glad he's not here for this.
Yeah.
Long or short?
Mm-hmm. Anything and everything that's worth doing is worth doing with something long.
Long,
Gotta go long.
Woo! Long hair. That's right. Long hair.
Long hair. Who remembers watching Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? Joe Lando with the long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Helen's dancing.
Thank you. You never let a lady dance alone.
Justina said, try a Hawaiian salad, lettuce, cherry tomatoes, pineapple chunks, mandarin oranges, Monterey Jack with ranch dressing to dive
with. I'm going to put shrimp on it.
Yeah.
Put a little shrimp in there?
Yeah.
But I'll try it the way it is.
Oh, I'm a seafood person.
I like seafood
and Justina's dancing.
Thank you. Thank you guys for dancing with me. And so that officially ends the midday muffin.
I love the midday muffin. Very good.
And what's next? What time is it, Ann?
Oh,
I think I know.
Well, okay. Well, hold on. I gotta find it. Snack time.
Snack time.
What's everybody eating? Oh, and you know what I got to get when I went back home? We went home. I got to go home for Thanksgiving. Oh, I was so happy. And I got Faygo Pop.
Oh.
Do you get Faygo Pop your way?
I don't believe so.
I think this is a Michigan.
It's Michigan.
Midwest.
I will check next time I go, though.
Yeah, Indiana, maybe Illinois, maybe Kentucky.
I don't know, but the commercial was, which way did they go? Which way did they go? They went for Faygo.
Faygo, yeah.
I've never heard that.
It's really, really good. I only brought me back a few bottles of it, and then I have to check them to see When we go on a trip now, it's like, do we save our bottles so we can take them home to recycle? Because we recycle everything here. So I'm always looking in the bottles now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is I can recycle this in my state. So
okay, now here's what they're eating today. A bowl of cereal.
Oh, I love cereal.
A lemon pie.
Who's got the lemon pie?
Chestina.
Oh, yum.
This is a sugar-free wafer, a vanilla wafer from the Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
how many carbs are in that?
I don't know.
Well, it's got real sugar, right?
She said sugar-free.
No, sugar-free.
Oh, they still they still have carbs.
They still have carbs.
Hey, can I put a shout out right now?
Do it.
Okay, I want to shout out. Oh, it's not going to show. I'll try it. I want to shout out to Tammy and Cammie. They sent us coffee from New Mexico, and I'm afraid when I do that, it's gonna. Okay.
Can you hold it in front of your face? Will it not block out? No, it still does it.
Yeah. There we go. It's New Mexico Pinyon coffee, traditional Pinyon.
Yes,
and it is. We've opened it. You can see, and we're using it, and so it's yummy. Oh, and the video that we did to thank Tammy and Cammie Happy Hippie Crochet did not turn out well.
No, but they made us. Aren't these nice? They making these for the homeless, and so we help participate and try to promote their GoFundMe page. And so they made us these really awesome, cute little little beanies, and on the front say Snafu Crew, which is another channel. And on the inside, then it has their little logo, Happy Hippie Crochet.
They're cute.
And they're very cute. So we do want to say thank you. And I have a Christmas card that we got from Alicia.
Yeah.
Who?
Winter wishes.
Oh,
isn't that beautiful? I like getting Christmas cards.
And mine is company here. I haven't been to the PO box.
Well, I can. It says thank you, dear Ann Lynn. You have pretty writing too. You write like one of my girlfriends, my gal pals, I should say. I don't know what you call them. My friend that I don't know where this show's
going, but I'm down.
Yep. Thank you so much for being my guest, because we were her guest. I had such a lovely time with you both. We did too. Wishing you a holiday season filled with love and unforgettable moments. I think we're having that right now. Yes.
Yes.
That is so sweet. And everything else was sweet.
Now, actually, show that card. Now, you cannot know this, Alicia, but this looks a lot like the barn that she left. She used to live 5 minutes from me.
Yeah, we had a big red barn. Big red barn.
And so that reminds me of, and it was the party barn. We had all of our parties there.
Yeah.
I had a big red barn like that too, and it blew over a few years ago during a storm.
Oh no!
There where you live now?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And look, I got a sticker.
Oh, I love that.
Country Mama Musing sticker. Isn't that? Oh, there you go. You can see it there. And from her garden, marigolds. I'll be planting marigolds.
Wow, thank you.
And you will too, Lynn.
So neat.
Yeah. So if you plant those, and then when they die off for the season, collect the little buds, and you'll have more seeds, and you'll have marigolds forever from my farm.
Oh, thank you. Wow. And I want to welcome Yogi Hollow Farm.
Oh, hello,
Lisa. And I am so glad. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much. That was so sweet, Alicia.
Absolutely.
Very, very sweet.
Precious. Thank you. Well, like I said, I've stayed in for other than Sunday. I went to church, and other than that, I've been in. Well, in 2 weeks, I've been out twice. Right, Thursday and Sunday. So,
That's
so
about
I
it.
was going to get out Friday and go to the mailbox.
Good deal. Good deal.
So I had to tell them I won't be in tomorrow. Oh, I just want to say something today, and today is December 1st.
Yes,
December.
yes.
And do you know that today is National Christmas Lights Day? National Christmas Lights Day. And it said things you could do. We can take a Christmas lights walk. Well, sometimes we have to drive in the car, don't we, to see all of them? And it says here you could coordinate with your neighbors. I guess that's something that some people do. They coordinate their colors or their scenes, and it said you can set your lights to music. So in our town, you can go by several homes, and they have their broadcasting. Is it FM or AM? And they have their lights and everything set. And I think that's
probably an AM station.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But
yeah. But anyhow,
I oftentimes do things where my family will say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" One time it was in the early 90s, and I bought a whole bunch of white Christmas lights and packing tape. And I sat out in our driveway, and my husband looked at me like I just absolutely lost my flipping mind. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Trust me on this. Trust me." And I would take those lights and I would leave like 2 or 3 in between. And then I would do a strand and bring it back up and tape it. And then a shorter strand. And I made my own icicles before icicles were a thing. And he thought I could be a millionaire by now, but and all the neighbors thought I was nuts, and they just thought it was horrible. And they said, "Oh, it looks so ugly," because it was in the daytime that they got hung. At nighttime, who was the star on that block? This girl right here. Until the next crazy thing that I came up with.
Take your little wave.
The wave didn't look like that on those days when they were talking bad about me. It was a little bit more R-rated. We'll do it here.
Well, it looks like cameraman has been outside of our home putting up Christmas decor.
Well, great. We have ours up. We have. I think we put ours up about a week before Thanksgiving, because my husband Dave one day just said, "I want Thanksgiving. I mean, I want Christmas when we come home from Thanksgiving." Yeah, when we come back from our little trip, I want it to be all Christmas. I want it all done when we come back. So we worked hard, both of us, and there's just the two of us, and there's nobody really going to see it inside, but it looks real pretty. So we put our tree up. I have a
candy cane hanging behind me. That's just about as much as I've done.
I see it. Well, I've got Santa Claus over here. Oh, there he is. I got Sandy there, and I got a little tree there, and you can't see the other side of me on my desk back here. I've got a couple of Christmas plaques, but I thought, man, I got to figure out something real quick for up here. But Yogi says they're putting theirs up this weekend. Yay!
Yes. It's the same with you, Ann. Cameraman and I, it's just the two of us, and unless we have, I'm sure that maybe Christmas Day depends on where we're at. But if not, if we're not with our grandchildren and family, we'll have mom here at our home, and it's still we have no children in the home, and it's just the two of us, and we really don't have very many visitors at all. I mean, we just don't. But we still decorated our home.
Oh,
and I enjoy it at night. We have the candles that come on, and we have a small tree. It's like 3 or 4 foot tall, but you know what? I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Well, you have to do things for yourself.
You have to do things, right?
That's part of having that good attitude.
That's right. Even if it was just me or just, any one of us, I would still want to have some Christmas up.
Sure. Yes. And I change it up every year. Like I said earlier, and I don't know if it was when we were just when we were chatting before we came on, or if it was in the actual live. But when I was growing up, we didn't really have Christmas. Oh, it was in my live. It was in my live earlier. We didn't really have Christmas growing up. I remember one Christmas growing up, and well, for my family, there was another one where I went somewhere else, but I was 7 years old, and there was a huge box that was put in the living room with a sheet on it. It was so big it had to be wrapped in a sheet, and it said, "To Daddy from Santa." And my mom said Santa brought Daddy a tow bar. So when we're out and about, if Daddy talks about buying a tow bar, don't let him buy a tow bar because Santa brought him one. Mm-hmm. So we would go out, and my dad would intentionally say, I'm thinking about buying a tow bar today. And oh, Daddy, don't buy a tow bar. You don't know what might be coming for Christmas. I fell hook, line, and sinker for the whole thing.
Aww.
Christmas morning, my dad opens the box, and there's a yellow bike.
Oh.
And I remember standing over him, and I said, "Oh, Daddy, can I ride your bike sometime?" And he said, "It's your bike."
Oh.
And I turned to my mother and I said, "You lied to me." And that was the last Christmas we had at home, ever.
Really?
Ever. Never had Christmas ever again. My mother said she was so heartbroken that I was so upset with her for lying to me. And they pretty much felt it was just a pagan holiday anyways. We didn't celebrate Easter. I never had an Easter basket growing up. So, but I remember another Christmas at my aunt's, and I discussed that during my live earlier. And then other than that, until we got married, I didn't really have a Christmas. And then so Christmas for me, it might be gangbusters one year. Yes. And the next year it might be like, okay, kids, Mama didn't do Christmas, but I got up at 5 o'clock and ran to the liquor store because it was the only thing that was open. So here's a Diet Coke and some candy cigarettes. Merry Christmas.
Oh,
that really did happen.
Oh my.
And I'm still that way. Some days we'll get a big, huge tree. Sometimes it's just a little tree. Some years it's just a wreath. It just depends on what I feel like doing. I don't know. And Papa Jim just goes with it. He just lets me do whatever I need to do.
Well, I know we had good Christmases as kids. We didn't, get a whole lot, but it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And Easter, we used to go, we would get the bonnet and have the little white gloves, and the little purse. And we would go to church with our little bonnets on. And to me, it was exciting. And then I did that with my girls. I got them the outfits, while you could still, they couldn't do, the gloves was out. But I could get them in the hats,
The hats,
Yeah, the hats and the dresses, the matching dresses, because all three of them.
No,
and
that's right.
So I like that. It was fun for me. They look at those now and they're like, that was kind of when the hair was a little fluffier.
Yes.
Yes.
The big hair.
Now, in our stocking when we grew up, we actually did get the orange or the orange or the other one, clementine, and we got nuts.
Nuts
and the nuts, and that. We really did, and peppermint, and it was. We look forward to it because we didn't get nuts so much like those fancy nuts.
Because nuts were expensive.
And
walnuts.
To be fair, and in full disclosure, my dad's birthday was September 26th, so we wouldn't celebrate Christmas, but my dad would always say, "Okay, it's my birthday, and let's all go shopping, and you can buy whatever you want. For my birthday, you can have whatever you want." So we would hit the after Christmas sales.
Right.
And then he would let us pick whatever we wanted. So that was our
Christmas. Well, we really, a lot of our gifts were practical, let's face it.
Sure. Shoes.
A
pair of shoes.
Robes. We have pictures of us showing our robes off.
Oh yeah, we always got robes.
The traditional under things and socks, and we were our parents were, I mean, they were traditionalists. And then now we did get a few toys. I'm not going to say we didn't. We did.
One year with our aunt, we have an aunt that would stay with us a lot, our mom's sister. And she would be with us on the holidays. And
our Aunt
she had Gladys, but we called her Gladdy. And Aunt Gladys, one year she came in with those, remember the old big shopping bags she used to get in the mall?
Yeah.
Full. She had 3 of them or more, didn't she, Lynn? And it was
her whole vehicle was filled. Trunk. And the reason was it's kind of a backstory to that. Our other aunt, we lived on a racehorse farm at that time. Our aunt and uncle had standard bred pacer horses, and they would always go take their horses, the ones that were good, and they would go to Arizona or Florida or somewhere. They were
out west.
They wintered out west, and we had to stay behind and clean the horse stalls and feed the horses and stuff that were left. But anyways, our aunt always sent. She always sent a check. She always sent a check, and for our Christmas present, there were there were 3 of us kids, and so one year. She phoned and she told my mom, she said, we have everything that we need and I won't be sending you anything this year for Christmas. Let's just not do it anymore. And I remember that was always, my parents kind of need, they look forward to that because it helped us with Christmas. And so that year is the year that our other aunt found out about that. And she more than doubled everything. So that was that year, Ann.
Yeah. So I do have that memory of, and one year my dad got a tape recorder.
Yes.
The little reel, but it was a little one.
Reel to reel.
But little reel to reel. And that was the first time we ever heard our voices. That was back in the early 70s. We played with that tape recorder for weeks. I mean, all of us, our whole family, and we did it together. And that was entertained us so much.
I don't sound like that.
No. Oh my goodness.
And you make up little skits and stories and
yes, all kinds of stuff. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Happy Hippie Crochet is here, and I don't know if you saw us, but we sure did. Thank you so much.
Got my hat. We got our hats on, and I want to apologize for that video. We don't know how come the video feed was so bad when we unboxed that box, ladies. But I want to say thank you very much.
And enjoying the coffee. It's delicious.
Yes. And Lynn gave the beanies away.
Oh, yes. Since they're here, Alicia, they sent anyway, who cares?
Remember, that's what makes you sexy.
That's
the one that knows how to play.
Well, here was the box.
Okay, this is cameraman. Yeah, that's cameraman, and
he had the box. It went to P.O.
Right. Now, I want to explain. This gentleman, his brother Sonny, and he attends my church, and he is a street evangelist. He preaches about 4 or 5 times a week. And we want to show a picture of this is now. Yeah. Now the reason he had a suit on, he wears his t-shirts but he was actually going to preach a funeral last Sunday. He had a funeral. And so he dressed up for that funeral. And after that funeral, there he is. He's out street preaching. And so he has several homeless people that come and listen to him, and so he is going to present these to them.
Yeah.
And then the others I gave him because our First Christian church in our town, they have a homeless shelter and they gather there. And so I want you to know, Tammy and Cammie, that they are going to the homeless in my area. I thought I may have to send him out to a large city, but I actually did not have to. That is Brother Sonny, and he's a wonderful man of God. He and his wife, and he's faithful. He said God told him to preach, and that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. So we delivered, so the beanies got delivered to the homeless. So that is great. So
wonderful.
Thank the ladies for that. Yeah, I'm so glad you ladies are here today.
And
We're so glad everybody is here today. We have been having so much fun with Alicia.
Yeah. We had our midday muffin.
We had our midday muffin.
Ooh, we had
our little rapid fire.
Yes. You're just going to have to watch. You won't believe it.
No. No.
And as I said, we do have the Ann Lynn prayer list. Put me on that list, everyone. I need to.
Okay.
I need to get over this junk.
Yeah, you've been dealing with some bronchitis, haven't you?
Excuse me.
Do you need to go cough real big?
No, I'm suppressing it.
Well, what have you got going coming up? What can we look forward to on your channel, Alicia?
Well, tomorrow I do have a video premiering, and it is my first low-carb diabetes-friendly recipe because just about almost a month ago, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, which really puts a kibosh on all of my lovely pie cravings and everything that we've been discussing. It made Thanksgiving interesting.
Okay.
But I'll be doing a video tomorrow on a sweet potato and black bean chili. So it's vegetarian and it's low in carbs.
Okay.
I'll be doing that. So, now that we're moving into winter, I think I'll be spending a lot more time up here in my craft room, and I'll be crafting. I'm going to be doing some crochet tutorials for those who are at the very, very, very can't do a thing stage where they don't even know what to do with the hook. We're going to start the very beginning. You were saying earlier about some of the things I've done. I actually taught for 2 years at the community college for their extension classes. I taught crochet. Wow. And, I would have ladies that they were like Chevy Chase. By the time they had their hands on that yarn for 5 minutes, it was wrapped in their glasses and, everywhere. So, but I was able to do that. So I think since it's going to be wintertime, I'll be up here in my craft room. We'll do some crochet tutorials, beginning crochet. I'm going to do a crochet tutorial for my canning mat. And also I'll be writing the pattern out for that and putting it on Etsy and maybe Ravelry. We'll see where that goes. But I'll just be spending time up here painting. I'm going to paint some barn quilts.
What's that?
A barn quilt is a quilt pattern that you paint on anything. So for instance, this summer I had a contest on my channel where I had people submit quilt patterns for me to paint on our 1902 corn crib. So I spent all summer, and I just went out yesterday to finish painting it, but my paint got frozen and now it's no good. So I just have a couple of pieces left to do, but it is about 10 foot by 10 foot quilt pattern on my corn crib.
That sounds.
So, and I've painted several that are, 12 inches by 12 inches, and they are in my summer kitchen. So I'm going to paint some more. I've got to paint one for the lady who submitted the winning pattern for that contest. She'll be getting one in the mail as soon as I get painted. And then I think I'll be painting some mandala rocks, which I just learned how to do this year, and it's so fun.
What is that?
It is, and I've got a video on it. It's where you just take any surface really, but I've been doing it on a black beach rock.
Okay.
And you just paint dots and it makes a pattern with dots.
Oh, okay.
So if you think of like Eastern Indian art with the dots that make all of the pretty patterns, that's what it is. Okay. And I just use craft paint and I just paint on the dots. So I'll probably be making a few more mandalas. I'll be crocheting, writing the patterns, and just kind of holing up here in my little upstairs bedroom that is now my craft room.
Could you show us some of your crochet items that you have right there?
I can. Let's see.
Okay. We, oh boy.
Pay attention to girly.
Here is, this is a lovey, and it's basically a security blanket. And I'm sorry that the colors aren't true to form, but this is just in a really pretty little buttercup yellow, and this variegated color is it's called Monet. Isn't that pretty? It's called Monet. It has all those beautiful colors from his paintings. But a lot of the times you get security blankets for babies. Yes. And they've got the animal attached, and then when they vomit on it or whatever else they do with it, wipe their nose, whatever, then you've got to wash the whole thing. Well, these you can actually remove the animal from because of the way I've crocheted them.
Oh, my.
And you can launder just the lovey.
Oh.
And then when the lovey's all washed, you can put the teddy bear back. Or if you need to get a whole new fresh teddy bear. Or let's say you have this and all of a sudden grandma gives baby a special gift.
Yes.
Then you can just replace it and put that in the lovey. And that way they've got a little security blanket with a special little thing to love on. And I love that they're big enough. They're big enough that they can carry them around. They're not too cumbersome, and then they can be washed, which is so important.
Yeah.
Because I know when I first became a grandma and my little grandbabies got loveys, they were the dirtiest, nastiest little things, and you couldn't wash them without having a big hassle. So I
really, somebody's asking, how much is the lovey?
My loveys, I used to sell them for 20 or 2 for 30. But I'm just gonna go down to 15, and because I have several that I need to finish up. So they're 15 plus shipping, and that includes the animal.
Oh, it does.
It does. And I even have some that are in really fun. I don't know if I can get up and grab it or not. Hang on, because I have to show it because it's so cute.
Okay.
And I am going to put Alicia's email address up,
yes,
so that if you want to get a hold of her for any of these items, you have to email her, and then you guys can do your business.
There. Yes,
I have this little guy, and he's so fun because he's in these fluorescent colors.
Yes,
and isn't he adorable? Look, he's got little antennas.
Oh,
and underneath. He's a glowworm.
Oh,
he's like a little caterpillar with all of his little footies.
Oh.
And when I used to do craft shows, I would have so many women, adult women, buy these for themselves because they just love the little glowworm. And they really are nice to cuddle with. They're just
nice for cuddling. And they glow at night.
But they don't glow. It's just
they don't glow.
Like a glowworm.
Okay.
They don't glow.
Okay.
I wish they did.
But he's a glowworm.
Well, they have the glowworm.
I had people because he's so fluorescent yellow, and you really can't tell with the lighting. But he's all fluorescent colors, and he just.
Now he could be for a little boy or a little girl.
Yes,
exactly.
Adorable.
Exactly, and I just love them.
Absolutely.
But I was sharing with the ladies earlier. I do have several of these ready to go. I just have to put the buttons on. I do make little girl dresses.
Look at that.
So I don't know where to hold this with the camera. But it, very beautiful. Gosh darn it. I'm sorry, ladies. I feel so unprofessional.
No, you're getting it. You're getting it.
Scalloped edges, really beautiful scalloped edges. There we go. I've got several colors that all I have to do is they have little pearl buttons at the back of the neck that they just slip right through, and they've got little pretty. So I do the dresses, and then I don't know, ladies, which one was your favorite?
Well, now you had some that had hats and the gloves.
The blankets. The blankets do. The dresses, I don't have anything to match with those, but I do baby layette sets. And so there's a crib size blanket. And so this one is the yellow, white, and gray with a beautiful rosette that's actually crocheted and sewn on.
Beautiful.
And that's a really nice pattern. And then it's got
look at that
baby beanie,
that little hat,
and these adorable tiny little booties.
Little booties. Oh my!
That go with them. I have to make sure I'm holding it the right way. Poor little kid. I have 2 left feet. So I just, I like making little layette sets. And
show that. Do you have the white blanket? You had a white blanket. Is it put up?
It's put up because it's still trying to organize. But I do have 2 blankets that are the pattern from Call the, I was going to say handmade. That's not who you call. Call the Midwife.
Call the Midwife, yes.
And it's a beautiful little pattern. And I'm still organizing my craft room. So it's in a tote that I cannot get to.
That's okay.
I lied.
I'm going to have to watch her crochet videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I can crochet a little bit, but it's been a long time.
Right.
But I was telling to Girly, I may have to learn to do some more, get back to it.
I didn't lie. It's not Call the Midwife. This is another one that I'm finishing up. And so it's just a baby. Just a little
just a beautiful blanket. White baby blanket.
Beautiful trim. And what you can't see is it has the iridescent floss in it.
Oh.
It has the sparkly.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's iridescent. It, as you look at it, you pick up hints of pink and greens and
yeah.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Another one's in another box that I'm working on. I don't have my Call the Midwife one. But I just love making them. And I don't know. I love working on crochet. I learned when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I've been a happy hooker ever since.
I want to know. So I put your email address up. So anybody is interested in touching base with Alicia, there's her email address.
Yes.
Make sure that's how if you want to purchase something, you email
if you're
her.
interested in some crocheted items. I'm working on a couple of orders right now.
I am interested in the classes that you're going to post online. So when I'm gonna be watching, I mean, I make sure everybody is subscribed to Country Mama Musings. Make sure you're subscribed to her channel, and then do the notification bell so that when these videos come out, you can check it out and watch it right away.
Can I say goodbye to Yogi Hollow Farm?
Oh, goodbye, Yogi. Goodbye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Lisa at Yogi Hollow Farm is the one who helped me when I said it's going to be quick. It needs to be a quickie, and we were both like, "Yes, quickie."
That is so wonderful.
So whether that's giving her credit or blaming her for part of the hilarity.
Now switching gears, I think I want to know about your tattoo.
You want to know about my tattoo? I do want to say, DeGirly says I should show off my canning mats. My canning mats are downstairs.
Oh, yes.
I'm working on one.
Okay.
I am working on one. Actually,
is it what it sounds like? It's a canning mat that you put your canning goods.
Right. When you take them out. When you take your jars out of the canner.
Okay.
And you want to set them on your counter. You don't want to set them directly on your counter because there'll be thermal shock in your cans or your jars.
Always use towels.
But so this is my canning mat. And again, I apologize for the light. But this is just what I'm working on. So you can't see the scalloped edge and how big it is. But
it's too pretty for canned goods.
No. Well, you could use it for a dish mat too. When you're washing your dishes on the counter, you can use it for that as well. So I actually have somebody who requested 2 of them. So I'm working on one upstairs. I'm working on one downstairs, working in different patterns so then they can have their choice of what 2 they want.
Okay.
So I am working on those. And then I'm also working on the vintage dish towels. Remember the vintage dish towels that would hang from the oven door?
Yes.
I have an order for those. So I'm just furiously making those so that individual can pick out the 6 that he wants. And the cotton dishcloths and things. I love the vintage stuff. I will share with you. I think right now I've only come across one. But several years ago, I was making tons of these because they're vintage and I loved them. And I shipped these from coast to coast, Australia and Canada. I had orders. But look at this pot holder.
Oh my goodness. It could even just hang in the kitchen somewhere.
It's vintage. And so he's just got this little floofy little tail.
Oh, I would just hang that up in my kitchen.
And I had a whole family of them. I had, different patterns with different names for different chickens.
So you had a bunch of different chickens?
I did. I had Penny and Olive, and this is Freckles. I mean, I just had all kinds of them.
Oh my gosh.
And so I sent a lot of those out. And that was actually at a bed and breakfast. They were selling them for a while, and then they stopped selling things. So I went and picked it up, and I've got a couple of them.
Oh,
but
wow.
But I love the vintage dish towels. I love things vintage. I was sharing this the other day with some of the people. I love making vintage cloche hats from like the 40s.
Yes. Oh,
where they would have, it would come down on one side, and they would have the flower and just vintage looks. And I just love stuff like that.
I love that.
So before you tell us the tattoo story, so I'd like to know where you get your beautiful pictures for your thumbnails of the girls, the little girl.
Thumbnails, those are all paintings of Hilda. And Hilda was created by an artist. His name is Dwayne Breyer, and he was in the Air Force during World War II. And he was actually commissioned to paint some of the pinup girls on the airplanes. Okay. And he was thinking about it when he was painting them. He says, there's never any plus size pinup girls. They're all very svelte and skinny, very voluptuous, but not plus size. Right. And so I think it's such a wonderful story with him, because he decided to come up with this character, Hilda, who was his dream girl. Oh. And his dream girl was this plus size farm girl with red hair. She always had, scraped up knees because she ran around barefoot and took care of the farm all the time. She was always getting herself into one kind of shenanigan or the other. And so he started painting these paintings of her, and he went to a calendar company and he said, would you consider putting out a calendar of plus size pinup girls? And they're like, we don't think it's going to work. Well, it was a smash, and they had calendars for over 30 years of Hilda.
Oh, okay. They look familiar to me, but I just couldn't figure it out. They're beautiful pictures.
And when I met my biological father, he had some Hilda calendars, old calendars. And of course, they weren't passed on to me when he passed on. Whoever handled the estate took care of it. But I remember seeing them there, and I thought I was just so enamored with them. It's like, oh, she little round like me. And I thought it was kind of cute. Wow. And so when I started my channel, I didn't used to have that. I used to have another opener, but then I came across Hilda one day, and it's like, if she's not me, wow, I don't know who is. So I try to put her at the beginning of every video. And then even in my videos, in my video library, I do have a coffee chat where it says Hilda, and it explains the whole story about Dwayne Breyer. And then it showcases his work, a lot of her pictures and stuff. And I don't know why, ladies, I really just don't know why, but whatever the music is that I chose to put with that particular video, I weep every time I watch it. I don't know why I weep. The song makes me cry. And I think another thing that really strikes me emotionally is this was his dream girl. Yes. I don't know what his wife looked like. I mean, he did eventually get married but I don't know what his wife looked like.
Oh, well, we might have to look on Google.
But that was his dream girl. And he was not afraid or ashamed to say, this is what I find attractive in a woman. The curves, the silliness, goofy. She's real.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I really, really appreciate that. So I put her on the beginning of my videos.
Oh, yeah. It's really cool. I really like it. It is. Well, tell me about your tattoo now.
The tattoo. It's not my first.
Oh,
okay. But it is my most recent. And I'll try to hold my arm where people can see it. We discussed earlier about my diagnosis with ovarian cancer. And once I was done with treatment and I was given the okay by my oncologist, I thought I need to have a tattoo because I like tattoos that tell a story and have significance. And so I wanted to get a tattoo where people could see it because this is my way of discussing this with women. Sometimes people will say, oh, I like your tattoo. And then I can breach the subject and talk about ovarian cancer with them. So I had gone to my local tattoo artist and I took this little ribbon, and it had on it in little fancy little cursive, it said hope. And it had a feather. And the feather, I'm sure you've possibly seen this before, but the feather, kind of breaks away into little birds that fly away. And I thought, I want this. And he says, tell me your story. And I said, okay. And I told him the whole story. And he says, no. And he actually took the picture I brought with me, and he dumped it in the trash.
Oh.
He said, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Oh.
And I was a little taken aback for a second. He says, do you trust me? I don't know you, but okay. Whatever. And I noticed he had some work where he does watercolor tattoos.
Oh.
So for those of you who don't know what a watercolor tattoo is, that is where they take the tattoo gun and they have the needles in it, and they actually put it over your skin first to break the skin open with just water. Mm-hmm. Then they put the color in, so it's got kind of like a watercolor effect.
Oh.
So he designed this tattoo, and I love the story behind it, and I will try to hold it so people can.
Okay.
Is it from your elbow to your wrist?
It is from my elbow to my pinky.
Okay.
So let's see. So difficult. Okay. With my flabby arms. How am I going to do this, ladies? Let's
right like that.
Yes.
Like this. Yes. Okay. What you can't see is over here. Okay, there we go. There is my teal ribbon. It starts here and it comes around, and instead of saying hope, in 1942 typewriter font, it says warrior. Okay.
Oh.
So as it wraps around, it becomes a feather. Here's my feather.
Yes, there's the feather.
There's my feather. It becomes a feather, and the feather is from an angel's wing. The feather is spilling out all of the different colors of all of the cancers. So there's pink for breast cancer. There's gold for children's cancer. There's purple, which is really significant of all cancers. There's teal. There's green for blood cancers. There's all these different colors. And if you would have seen the color palette that he had on his tray, there must have been 30 different little color palettes that he chose from to come up with all of these colors. Well, this feather then continues down my arm all the way around across the top of my wrist and over to my pinky. And it has all of those colors with it.
Yes.
Then there are butterflies all along my arm.
Yes.
But the butterflies are not colored in. The butterflies signify the women that I met on my journey who ovarian cancer took. And they're not colored in because their story wasn't done. They were taken too soon.
Right.
And a lot of the time they're taken too soon because unfortunately ovarian cancer, like I said, is called the silent killer. And not only do women not pay attention to their symptoms, but there's a very large issue right now in the medical community where doctors are not taking it seriously a lot of the time too. And I have met women, truthfully, 25 years old, something's wrong. And the doctors will say, you just need to exercise more and lose 15 pounds and work on your core strength. That's why your stomach hurts. That's why your back hurts, because you need to work on your core muscles. You need to get in shape. And they're not listening to the women, and they're not following up. And what a lot of women don't understand is a lot of women who notice my tattoo and I start talking about it, they say, oh, well, I had a pap smear this year. Pap smear does not screen for ovarian cancer. That screens for cervical cancer.
Right.
There is no screening test for ovarian cancer. So, you can go in for a mammogram, you can do your self-exam, you can get your pap smear at your yearly physical, but there's no screening for ovarian cancer. The other misconception that now when you go in for your physical and you have the pelvic exam, you know how the doctor presses on each side of your belly?
Yes.
That's them pressing, finding your ovary. They're about the shape of an almond. And that way they can tell if there's an abnormality. But that could be, there's no screening for the actual cancer. There is a blood test that you can do once it's suspected. And if that antigen is elevated, then they can suspect ovarian cancer and confirm it that way. But it's a very expensive test, and not every woman gets that test.
Right.
And we could sit here all day and talk about all the women that I have met in the last 6 years that were misdiagnosed, not diagnosed, diagnosed too late because nobody would listen. And so this is where women have to be advocates for themselves. But people talk to me about this tattoo when I go out in public. And I've had several women say, I don't have to worry about that because I had a hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they still do if you kept your ovaries, you have to.
Even if your ovaries have been removed,
Really?
you can still get ovarian cancer.
Really?
Right. And if anybody wants to verify this, you can look it up with Mayo Clinic. And here is the process of it. When you are formed in your mother's belly, all of your reproductive organs are formed in your peritoneal cavity of the same tissue, correct?
Okay.
So that peritoneal cavity is the same tissue that your uterus and your ovaries and your fallopian tubes are all formed from.
Okay.
You've got all that same tissue.
Okay.
So even if you remove the ovaries, you still have that tissue there.
That
was formed from. That would be like saying, I'm not going to get fat if I don't eat the rolls because I've got the bread. Made from the same thing. Mm-hmm. But the other fact that people, until I say something like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Every month when you're at that stage in your life, your egg erupts, correct? Erupts from the ovary and then goes to the fallopian tube.
Right.
When there is that eruption, fine cells erupt. And those cells are then absorbed by the tissue in your abdomen. And so those cells are there. And so later on, if you've had a hysterectomy and you've had your ovaries removed, those cells are still in that peritoneal cavity. And at some point, something may go haywire. But oftentimes, these are women who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s that are diagnosed, and they call it primary peritoneal cancer as opposed to ovarian cancer. But it's ovarian cancer.
Wow.
So, it's a nice way to just open up the conversation.
Absolutely.
And and of course, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's all the way to my pinky here. When I came home that night, this was 12 hours in the chair straight.
Yeah.
This was not done in stages. It was 12 hours straight. And when I came home, hubby was already in bed, and I came to the side of his bed and I said, look what I did. And he just shook his head and he said, how do you think you're going to feel about that when you're an old lady? Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, you know how many friends I've lost this year? Do you know how many women were denied the opportunity to become an old lady? Mm-hmm. If I live to be an old lady and this cancer doesn't take me, I'm going to rock this tattoo with pride and be happy that I get to have it as an old lady.
Yes.
Because I've lost women that I've met in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Mm-hmm. It is a cancer that does not discriminate. It really is coined as an old woman's cancer. But that's not true. I was not even 50 when I was diagnosed. And like I said, there is a little girl. Her name is Emmy. And I call her my little teal sister. And anybody in the ovarian cancer community we call her our little teal sister. She was 2 when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. 2. And I've had several people say, how is that possible? It's like, she's born with ovaries. She has ovaries. It doesn't have to happen later in life. And
what did the purple signify?
Purple is for all cancers.
Okay.
So for instance, if you go to like a Relay for Life walk, there's usually purple. Purple's pretty much significant of all cancers. Okay. But there's just all different kinds of colors, combinations. I think cervical cancer is teal and white, and brain cancer is gray because of the gray matter. Lung cancer is clear. I mean, there's just all of these different color combinations that they put together.
So the butterflies that you have correlate with a lady that you knew. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
They represent the women that I knew. And,
so should another one pass? Will you add them to your?
I probably won't be adding. Mm. I probably won't be adding, but it's in general signification, but I do have certain ones that belong to certain women. Mm-hmm. This one here, shortly after I was diagnosed, I had little awareness cards, and I was taking them around and passing them out at businesses and asking them to hang them up. And I'd gone to our local Subway, and I asked the girl working, I said, can I hang this up in your bathroom? And she read it. And I went in a couple weeks later, and she said, you know what? She said, I went home. I live with my grandma. Mm-hmm. I went home and I told my grandma, you look bloated. And Grandma said, yeah, I know. And this is in September. She says, I know I've got my physical's in February. And she said, no, Grandma, you're sleeping a lot. You're bloated. I think we need to get this checked. And Grandma had ovarian cancer.
Wow.
Had she waited till February,
yes,
it may have progressed to the point where she wouldn't have had any options.
correct.
They caught it early enough. She had surgery. She had chemo. And I think she was within 3, 4, 5 more years. And she passed away from something else. So the ovarian cancer didn't take her.
Wow.
But I love that it opens up the door to discuss this. And another thing is, while I'm on this soapbox, is unfortunately, ovarian cancer is a very taboo subject. Ovarian cancer, our awareness month is in September. But you can't get 3 days into September without pink ribbons showing up everywhere for breast cancer awareness.
Right.
And for some reason, it's okay to discuss in public breasts.
Yes.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But to talk about ovaries is somehow taboo. And we really need to get the public to get past that. And I mean, even cervical cancer is discussed more than ovarian cancer.
Well, I tell you what, right now, you come back on our show in September, or early September, and we will do a whole show about it. Would you do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to write that down because I want to make sure that get you dinner. And yeah, we'll
And when I say that, I don't want to discredit breast cancer because, like I said,
it's all
are sisters.
No, we're not.
You will never see a whole NFL team with teal ribbons on their shoes.
Sure.
You will never see. I shouldn't say never. It's very rare that you will see a hospital lit up with teal lights, but they'll do it with pink. I mean, it's
pink is Walmart. You can go into Walmart and buy pink.
You can buy pink 12 months out of the year at Walmart or Dollar Tree, anything. There's always pink ribbons, but the teal ribbons are very rare. And it's amazing how I don't know why it's a taboo subject.
Well, we will have you on. That would be September the 7th.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The first
it's the first Wednesday.
Now I want to say goodbye to Free Handily Made.
Goodbye, Free Handily.
Have a wonderful day.
Yes, have a wonderful day.
Off my test didn't come back. Somebody was talking about their test, and I missed it.
They thought that she had here.
Can you read
there?
What Burley just wrote? Yes, thank you.
I'll put it up there. Yeah.
Endochrodoma.
Mm-hmm.
Endochrodoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I will be honest that I'm not sure which one that is related to.
It is. Does it get into the bone, Ann?
I don't know. I know that I have
because she has concrete in there now. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that I had a bad pap smear, and then it came back dysplasia.
Yes.
And then I had to do the cryotherapy. Oh, she said it's a rare form of bone cancer.
Yes, I knew it was
bone cancer. Yes. Oh, yeah, in her arm.
Thank you.
It was in her arm.
Yeah, and now they drilled all that out.
Yeah, they drilled it out. It's in her bone up here, and they drilled it out, and they replaced it
now, a big plate.
Well, so they put a plate in, but they drilled out the bad spot in her side of her bone and filled it with medical cement.
Yes.
And then they put a plate over it, right? So it was, thank goodness, was not. Do you want me to let you go for a second, Lynn? Do you need to cough? You okay? You all right? So anyhow, yeah. So we all have these little scares.
Sure.
But I never thought about September being, honestly, ovarian cancer. I knew the pink was for breast cancer.
Now we had an aunt who passed away. It was either ovarian or cervical.
Seems like it was ovarian.
And I believe it was ovarian. And,
so if it was ovarian and this is a blood relative, ladies, you really need to be aware. And this is why it's still, it's important that when you go in for your yearly physical and you have your breast exam and everything, that you still get a pelvic.
Yes.
Some doctors will say you don't need it now. You're past childbearing age. You don't need a pelvic. But your ovaries are not your friends.
Right.
And they do need to be kept.
So you don't need this anymore.
And you need to watch for the subtle symptoms. Like I said, it's called the silent killer or the cancer that whispers is another way that they say it. And women, we just don't pay attention.
Well, I think this will be a good show. We'll have you back in September.
Okay.
Definitely
I'll
for
be
that.
happy to be there.
Put B&B Home up.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, B&B. Now, I do want to throw this out there too. Your sister-in-law has it. I do want to say that on Facebook, I do have a group that I started. When you're diagnosed with something like this and you start reaching out for support groups, you join these cancer support groups for ovarian cancer, and then one by one, like I said, you watch your friends all die. And then you're done with treatment and you still need a place to go, but you're in those groups where more people are still passing away and you need something else. So I started a page on Facebook, and it is called Life After Ovarian Cancer, Finding Health and Happiness. So B&B, if you'd like to let your sister-in-law know about that, it is a place where women who have had a diagnosis can come. It's a safe place. We do not discuss in length diagnosis because that can be a trigger for women. We don't discuss in length about treatment because that can be a trigger. And we don't discuss when one of our sisters has gained their wings and passed on, because that's a constant reminder of a trigger. So we talk about diet, exercise, dancing in the kitchen, finding a new hobby, doing something so that you can reclaim your life. Because for many of us, and this is probably true with those who have expressed breast cancer and even the bone cancer and anything like this, it's a life-changing diagnosis. We sit and we wait for the other shoe to fall. And especially when you are diagnosed with something where they say, really not a cure, and most likely it will come back. You wait for that shoe to fall. And I learned a lot about Damocles' sword. I didn't know what Damocles' sword was before, but I learned about that. And it's like, you've got a sword over your head and it's being held by a horse's hair, and you just wait for the hair to snap. And I lived my first 2 or 3 years after my diagnosis of just waiting. Every little twinge in my belly, every little pain, it's like, oh, there it is. Shoe has fallen and it's back. And this time it'll kill me. And unfortunately, that's the mindset that creeps in. And one day I just said, I've got to get off of those other pages. I've got to start a page myself where we can focus forward and not live in that world where you wait for the other shoe to fall. So B&B, if your sister-in-law is interested, you could certainly guide her over to my page, the group there in Facebook. I mean, it doesn't benefit me anyway. I don't make any money.
Right.
But you're a support group.
It's a support group and women can share.
Well, I think you said a couple of things that are really important to talk about again, just briefly, is you've got to advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I know a lot of people, and I'll tell you, my husband is one of them. He'll go to the doctor and I'll say, well, what do you say about this? What do they say about that? Because I ask 1,001 questions, and I'll be, make sure you ask about this, make sure you ask about that. And he'll come back, oh, I don't know. Oh, I didn't ask. And I'm like, oh, and so, but when I go in, I mean, I ask about every little thing, and then we'll talk, and I'll, if I have an issue, I'll say, well, can I get this checked? I want to get that checked. I want you to do full blood panel on me. It's my money. So, it's my insurance company. Don't worry about it, because they're like, well, that's, well, if I always go, I have insurance. I can pay for it. I want, I want these tests done.
Right.
And, you just have to sometimes just, really, because we know our bodies. That's what, I know. I mean, I've been in this thing for 65 years. I know exactly how I function. And you know what I mean? And when you feel something that's not quite right, and what do I tell you, Lynn?
Nip it.
Nip it.
Nip it.
Nip it. Like the girl who said, ladies, go get checked. And I guarantee you, when your husbands go in for their physicals, their prostate's getting checked more than women's ovaries are.
Oh,
yes. That's probably
ovarian cancer is much more deadly than prostate cancer is.
Yes. And I changed doctors recently. Not my primary, but I've had an ongoing issue, and I chose not to go back to the person I was seeing for it, and I went another route. So, you've got to be brave sometimes.
Get a second opinion.
And in between the tests that I had, I made a decision to go see an ears, nose, and throat. I mean, I just called him up, and I'd seen him before. No one told me, I just, I mean, I said, I'm going to go see him. I'm going to see this doctor in between all this. So I did that. Everything was, and then when it was time to go back to the original doctor, I chose not to. I mean, I just went online, canceled my appointment.
But you had some more testing down your throat and stuff. You wanted to be sure because you've had a sore throat for a long time. Like, now it's going on
anyway,
years.
I'm just saying though that I made that decision to in between when I was waiting and there was no doctor appointment, I went ahead and made one and saw an ears, nose, and throat. And then I went ahead and chose another physician. And I'm glad I did, because this one came back. Everything is fine. The first one did not. This one did. So, I mean, I know it's hard because people are so loyal. You're loyal to our physicians, and we should be. I mean, in some points, but but if there's a time that you
you feel like they're not listening.
Right. Yeah. If they're just like, yep.
My mother's primary doctor looks like Santa Claus. He lives here in this little town. And I was with my mother at one of her doctor's appointments one day, and I had to squeeze between my mother in her wheelchair and the doctor who was sitting on his chair so I could get to a chair. And as I walked by, he poked me in the belly, and said, "We need to work on this, girl."
Wonderful.
That was that tumor. And all he focused on was the fact that he thought I needed to lose some weight.
Oh my goodness.
He was poking that tumor and we didn't even know. But if he would have said, "You've been coming in here with your mother for the last year and you're looking bloated. We need to look into that."
Yes.
That could have made it. It really could have made it where I could have possibly have avoided chemotherapy. Because if we would have caught it while the cancer was still encapsulated, I could have just had the surgery. But instead my belly was full. Because it was leaking out.
Now, I did leave a doctor because she was continually on my weight. I mean, and that's all she focused on. And I thought there's so much more. So
weight is important, but you have to see.
I'm not saying that. Please,
as a whole.
Right.
No, I'm saying I agree. I'm just saying the doctors need to see us as a whole, not just what the number on the scale is or how we look.
Right. And then I thought, well, if that's all we're going to focus on, which is important, I'm not saying that, but what if that's all she focuses on? Like you said, then you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah. And Ann's talking about being your own best advocate. I went several months without an oncologist because my oncologist left. And by the time I finally got in to see this new oncologist, he basically wanted to know what I was doing there. It's like, I'm being proactive in my care. I haven't had a blood test. I haven't had a CAT scan in 17 months. And he says, "Are you always this anxious?" And I said, "I'm trying to
give you some medicine."
He wants to know if I'm anxious. It's like, well, I've got a cancer diagnosis. I mean, that would make anybody anxious. But I went to go see my primary. He says, "We need to talk about your oncologist." I said, "Oh, let me tell you, we need to talk about him."
Right.
He actually contacted my primary and suggested that I have a psychiatric evaluation for my anxiety about cancer. When all I was trying to do was be proactive and follow the protocol. There's a protocol.
Yes.
That after you're done with treatment, X many months, for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, there's a protocol to follow for blood work and CT scans and pelvic exams.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't getting that treatment. And then to be referred to for a psychiatric evaluation because I'm trying to be my own advocate for my healthcare. I told my doctor, if I ever have a recurrence, he will not be my oncologist. I will go to the University of Iowa, which is 4 hours one way, and I will get my treatment there.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Or I will drive up to Mayo and get my treatment there.
Yeah.
But he will not be my oncologist.
Oh my.
And right now he's no longer here. So that's good.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so you have to advocate for yourself.
You do.
And also, as for your family members.
I'm advocating for our mother right now. I mean, locally, Mom is here.
Right.
So, but right now, Ann is on the call first list, which is fine with me. I mean, I'm not going to go in. But like you said, I have to be here for her and see that she's getting things that she needs. And by the way, Ann, I spoke to her this morning, and she's feeling much better. So
good. Yeah, I get the
2 days.
I get the phone calls, and then I call Lynn and tell her, now we have a talk to mom about this, or mom's doing that, or we got to figure that,
right.
But like you said, it's good because I take it and then you would go,
and I'm not able to see her right now. I mean, I'm just not.
Right.
Maybe Friday I can, but I'm making sure that she's well, and she is. She is.
So, very, very good. That is, boy, you are full of all kinds of information.
A plethora of topics.
You are a Renaissance lady. Yes.
You're neat.
Yes.
So nice to hang out with you for a little while. It is really.
Yes.
I love spending time with you ladies.
Oh, we just love.
So do you have chickens now? You said
I have chickens.
You get your butt nuggets from your chickens.
I get my butt nuggets. We introduced 30 new girls to the crop this year.
That's a lot.
So I have right now, about 32 hens. I have 3 roosters. So all of my girls are named Betty, and all of my boys are named Archie. We have Archie and Betty.
Yes.
And then we have 8 guinea fowl.
Oh,
which are just a joy. Some people cannot handle them because they're noisy. Anytime they go off with making their noises, my husband and I just look at each other and smile because we think they're so neat. And I don't have any neighbors to worry about, but they're so noisy and I just love them. And then we have, 6 resident turkeys and 1 wild turkey.
Oh.
And our wild turkey shows up every day to dine with everybody. I've named her Phoebe.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And she comes out of the grove. I don't know where she's living back there. She's hidden somewhere because the raccoons haven't gotten her. But she comes in every morning and she dines with everybody. And then right in the middle of all of that foulness is Sir Oreo Pigglesworth III. And he is our potbelly pig. And our potbelly pig lives with the coop kids.
He lives where?
He lives with the coop kids.
Oh, he does. He likes
kids. That's what I call all my coop kids, and he lives there with them. And then we have our mini donkey CJ, and he lives down in the pasture.
Oh my goodness!
Luckily, he was not in the barn when the barn collapsed.
Oh my goodness! And do your children? Well, now your children are grown, right? So it's now just who helps you there around the farm? You got a little.
I used to do it all. I even used to buck the 50-pound bags of feed. I would go to the feed store and I would do all of that.
Yeah.
But then since my diagnosis, a lot of that fell on Papa Jim. That's my husband. We call him Papa Jim. And so he had to take care of all of that. And I mean, I go out and I take care of the chickens now. He lets them out in the morning and I put them away at night, and he takes care of the donkey just because of, he's a sweet little donkey, but you never know if he knocks me down or something. I don't know that I have the strength to fend him off.
Right.
Because I still have issues from chemo and from my surgeries. And now the diabetes makes me dizzy. And so, I mean, I go love on him at the fence line, but I won't go in with him because even though he's been fixed and he's not as mean as if he was intact, you still just don't know. I call him my angry ass. He's ornery, but in a fun way. But you just never know if he starts running and kicking. If I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time,
and that would really hurt you. That would really.
I would say the whole time we've been on this call, on this live,
yes,
I think maybe 2 cars have gone by. So if I get hurt out there, I'm down for the count for a while.
Do you take your phone with you when you go out there? Or?
When I'm a good girl, I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget.
You need to keep it on you all the time.
I know. No, I do.
Well,
look how sexy that is.
Fabulous.
Look how fabulous that is.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I got to
mine keeps coming down.
There.
But it's sexy.
We got to do our sexy hair.
Too sexy. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you too.
But we've had 5 donkeys since we've lived here.
Oh.
We rescue and rehome. Well, we don't rehome them after we get rehomes. or rescues. We get them here at the farm. The first year that we were here before my diagnosis, I think we rescued about 59 and a half animals.
Oh my goodness.
And I say half because one was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, they live their natural lives here until they pass away. And then we've got a place where they go in the back. But we've had animals that have been abused and neglected or unwanted and unloved, and they come here. Wow. And sometimes they're meant to go to somebody's freezer camp. Yes. And I will say, please don't send them to freezer camp. Let them come here. Yeah. And so if they were going to sell a duck for $10, you know, for somebody's Christmas dinner, I'll buy the duck for $10 and I bring him here and he lives his life here. Oh. And so that's how I get them all. Kill pens. You know, I'll go to the auction where they'll have animals in a kill pen that's going to go to become glue or something. And even if I don't have a horse trailer with me, I'll bid on them and bring them home. And then I have to beg somebody to drive them to my house. But my husband was like, "Oh, you did it again, didn't you?" Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I told him no more animals, no more animals. And I had just finished chemotherapy. I had pneumonia. We had an ice storm. And yet somebody had posted that they needed a place for this pony because it was blind. Nobody wanted it. Their owner had passed away and it was going to go to the kill pen. And so I told him, I said, we've got to hook up the trailer and go get her. So we drove all the way to Missouri to pick up this old blind horse. And her name was Mary. And I changed her name to Mary Bell. And she was just so loving, just such a loving horse. And even though she was blind and her blindness could have been prevented, but she didn't get the care she needed. Oh my. And so my vet was always on top of everything we needed. And she stayed here until the day we had to say goodbye. Wow. And I love her and miss her. And, you know, we're down to the one donkey. We've had 5. Many donkeys have congenital heart defects. So, you know, sometimes 1 minute they're there and you walk around the corner and they're done. Yeah. And they'll have a heart attack. But I think the best, and I don't know if you guys want to go, but I'm just yammering. Go ahead. The biggest surprise I ever received here on the farm that just, my heart just exploded. I was so happy. Something I had always wanted, always, even before we moved out here to the farm, is I always wanted to rescue a burro from the Grand Canyon. Oh, they have those programs where you can adopt a burro. Oh. And I'd always wanted to do that. And when we lived on the West Coast, we would drive, you know, like to Oatman, which is where Clark Gable went for his honeymoon. They have all these donkeys that roam the streets. And I've got pictures of me with little donkeys, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago that I want these donkeys. And one day my vet called and his father was my farrier. And they said a farmer had recently moved out of state and left his donkey behind. And would I give her a home? Wow. And I said, sure. And they said, are you sure you want her? Because she's really old and she's going to take a lot of work. And I said, well, of course, I'll take her. They took her to the vets. They worked on her feet. They floated her teeth. They got everything ready and they brought her. And when they took her off the trailer, she was so incredibly emaciated. It just broke my heart, full of stickers. But she just had this sweetest little smile on her face. And when you lifted her mane, she had just a little bit of a mane. When you lifted it, you could see her freeze brand. They don't brand with heat. They freeze a number in their neck. Okay. And that was her brand from the Bureau of Land Management. She was a Grand Canyon burro that had somehow found her way back here to Iowa. And I would go down every day and brush her, try to get the stickers out of her mane. And she would just stand there and smile. And I just had dreams of when spring would show up and getting her one of those straw hats with the flowers and poking her ears through them and letting her walk around the front yard because we let our animals roam the whole place. But she passed away. We only had her a few months. Aww. And we came home one day and Jim went in to feed the animals and he came back out and he said that my queen bee was gone. And I called the vet just bawling my eyes out. And I said, I'm so sorry I failed her. And he said, no, you didn't. You loved her every day. Yes. And the farrier called me and he said, why do you feel you failed her? I said, she was only here a few months. She had so much more life to live. He says, I don't think you know how old that donkey was. And I said, how old was she? He goes, that donkey was alive during LBJ's administration.
Oh my goodness.
That donkey was from the 60s. She was in her late 40s, 50s years old.
Oh,
she was a very old donkey.
Absolutely.
She lived a really long life. And her last few months, instead of being just deposited in a field and left to starve, you loved her every single day. You did not fail that donkey. But I just loved her. And to have a BLM donkey, Bureau of Land Management, I hate that it means something else now, was just a dream come true. And I just loved her. Just loved her. I had a little statue made of her and everything.
What a sweet story. Oh,
love her.
What a sweet, sweet story.
Henry the turkey was adopted.
Oh,
donkeys are cute. I'll tell you about my little donkey that I've got down there now. His name is CJ because I named him Captain Jack. After Captain Jack Sparrow, because when he was born, he's what's called a few spot. He's a few spot albino. So when he was born, he had all white skin and just a couple little patches of little gray spots, just a couple of them. But all of his skin was white. He's an albino. He has one purple eye and one brown eye.
Oh my!
And one eye has eyeliner. And he just reminds me of Captain Jack Sparrow. But he was born with a parrot mouth. He's got a little bit of a deformity, and so he's got a parrot mouth. So he frowns all the time. He looks mean. He looks like that angry cat. Remember that?
Angry cat? Oh yeah.
He's always scowling like he's angry. So I call him my angry ass.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Your neighbor has a turkey. She's disabled.
Yes.
The turkey.
Your released neighbor. Yes, they adopted a turkey with a deformity. Yes.
My little pig has a deformity.
T-Racy. Where you been? Where you been, T-Racy? You're late. Where's the major?
Yeah.
Where's the major, Tracy?
Oh, he missed out on all the racy stuff, didn't he?
Yes,
he's going to have to watch the replay now. Yeah.
He's going to have
to. Well, I just want to tell everybody next week who we're going to have on the show. And this is a real interesting, this gentleman. He went by Central Florida Prepper, and he is survival living.
Yes.
And I'm gonna let me show a little clip. He'll be on next Wednesday with us.
Okay.
On the next All New Live, the Ann Lynn Show, we welcome back Survival Living. And we've given him a challenge of what can senior citizens do to help prepare themselves for all types of situations. So you're going to want to be here on Wednesday, December the 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern for an all-new live with Survival Living. Yeah, that's Survival Living.
That's great.
So we had him on earlier in the year, and he has a really large channel. I think he's over 75,000, and he gets like 45,000 views on his videos. Yeah, so we're really excited. And so he came into our live a few weeks ago, and I asked him, I said, hey, you'll be back on. He was like, yeah. And I said, well, here's your challenge. So as senior citizens, what can we do in case of because he's a survival trainer,
right?
And
we can go there.
He teaches and he takes classes and he is. And I said, so what? As senior citizens, we live in an urban environment, so poop hits the fan, or we have we get snowed in 10 feet of snow. There's no electricity. So that's your challenge. What can we do to help ourselves in that type of situation? So he said, I'll take that challenge.
Yeah.
And so he'll be on next week. And I'm sure that living out on a farm like you do out in the way out, you have to take some kind of precautions to make sure
very quickly.
Yes.
My neighbors used to call me, a prepper back when we lived in California, because I used to coupon shop. And my garage was stocked.
Right.
But then when we moved out here to the farm, we live in that polar vortex. where there are many days we're colder than Alaska. And there are times where, 27, 28 days in a row will be 20, 30 below zero with, wind chills at 50 below zero. And so we're hunkered down. And there's been times we're on this gravel road, and sometimes it takes a while for the plows to come out.
Right.
So there's times where we're just in the house for 8 days, 9 days. And so the pantry is well stocked. We make sure we have everything we need for heat and heaters for the waters for the animals and all of that. So we're well stocked. I'm much more prepared now than I was 2 years ago. And people started making fun of me. And I don't know what it is, but my son in California, he has his finger on the pulse of a lot of things. And he will call me and he told me, I'm going to say in October, November of 2019, he told me, he said, Mom, start stocking up. Something's coming. He goes, I don't know what it is, but something from China. He told me that. And we've got family members who think he's crazy, but every single time something has happened, he knows about it and tells me about it because he's listening. And I don't want to say conspiracy theorist stuff or anything, but he's got his finger on the pulse of something and he lets me know. And so I started preparing. And people around here were making a lot of fun of me. And it's funny that you mentioned the bidet thing earlier, because I actually did a video on Facebook. This is before I had YouTube. I did a video on Facebook showing people alternatives to toilet paper. When we had that whole toilet paper thing, I said, you've got this alternative, and this is where I found that. And some people are like, those are disgusting. Well,
the homemade washcloth or, towels for the toilet, toilet towels. Or,
something.
What is this? I mean, it isn't great, but if you have to use old rags or something like that, it's not any different than we did with cloth diapers for our babies.
Right.
It's really not any different.
Right.
You just put them in a diaper pail with some bleach or whatever, and let them soak a little bit, and then, wash them.
I had gone to the store and all of the toilet paper was gone. All of the baby wipes are gone. But when you go into the health and beauty products where they have the samples, the little soaps and the little deodorants.
Yes.
There were packs of travel wipes full.
Yeah, there
so
you go.
So I told people, I said, you have to be creative and think of where you need to look for these different things. And I did have some pretty unconventional ways for replacement for TP, and that's why people were saying it's disgusting, but you have to think that way.
You do. And with the cost of everything going up right now, I think it's really smart if you can, you get a special deal. And here's my thing I'm thinking about. The Dollar Tree has a lot of food. They have a lot of name brands. I'm real careful. I don't like to get things that are not necessarily made in other countries. I prefer to buy from here, or Canada is probably okay. But anyhow, right now it's all still $1. In April, it's all going up to $1.25, or most things, I should say. They said most items, so they'll have a few things, but that are still $1. But I mean, there's a lot of name brand stuff like Hunt's spaghetti sauce. Go get all that stuff now. And I, if you have $5 extra, that's right now, there's 5 items,
right?
Come April, it'll be 4. It's still cheap.
I was sharing with a friend of mine when she was saying some of the things I was doing in my pantry. She goes, I wish I had the space to store things. I said, you do. And every time you go to the store, find one item on sale.
Yes.
One item.
Yeah.
And buy a dozen. If you find black beans on sale, buy a dozen. I found black beans the other day for 25 cents a can at Walmart.
Oh.
I bought a flat. You slide them under the bed.
Right.
Yes.
You put them in the closet. You stack them in the corner. My husband said the other day, he says, do we need so much peanut butter? I said, we don't need so much peanut butter. But we've got grandbabies. And if the poop hits the pan, those grandbabies can use that for protein.
That's it. Yeah, because
there are different things. I'm a vegetarian, but I bought a whole case of Vienna sausages the other day. Not for me, but if things
kids
get bad and those grandbabies need something, they'll eat those Vienna sausages, and they don't take up a lot of space.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that can be done.
Yes. And so
dash it around your house. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And so these are the kinds of things that survival living teaches and talks about. And so but yeah, and I've always been kind of a food hoarder. That's what I called myself. I'm going to let Lynn go for a minute. because she's having a little issue.
One issue that I've had is, when you raise 4 boys and then they grow and they're teenagers and they eat so much food.
Oh, yeah.
I became it was a real habit for me to always get 2, 3, 4, 5 things and put them in the cart. And now there's just the 2 of us. I have a hard time breaking that. I still put excess in the cart.
I think that's okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
People were like, what are you doing?
Well, I've always kind of, I wasn't that way. But there was a time in my life when my girls were littler, and money was really super tight.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go on food stamps for a little bit. And my husband was active military.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, they don't make a lot of money. And he was doing a stint overseas. And while he was gone, I mean, it was rough. And he was sending his check, to me. And it was still rough because we had made the decision to live off post and for me and the girls to move home. And so we rented a house, I had to rent a house and I had to pay utilities that whole year he was gone, blah, 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 raising 3 little girls. And it was tough. So we went on food stamps. And so when he got back and he re-enlisted and we're okay now because he's back and we're going back to quarters. And so Lynn, are you ready? Are you okay? I think she's okay. You're all right now? Okay.
Look, I'm an Ann Lynn sandwich now.
Yes, you're right in the middle. But long story short, so after that, I said never again. And I just started, I hoarded food.
I did it,
Hoarded
my background
food.
is still kind of the same way. Besides growing up pretty poor, there was a time when we had 2 of our boys, and they were like 1 and 3. And my father-in-law had gone to Costco or Sam's Club or something, and they had bought this sounds so terrible. They had purchased a gallon size container of mayonnaise, and they put a bunch of mayonnaise in a bowl for us. And, they brought over a couple of other things, but like the mayonnaise was the only thing that was left. And my husband was working for my father-in-law, and we needed money. I think he went 6 weeks working for him with no pay. And we had no food. And I remember my littles opening the refrigerator and dipping their finger in the mayonnaise and eating the mayonnaise because that was all we had was mayonnaise. And I went to go up. All I wanted was a referral to the community pantry because where we lived, you had to have a referral.
Yes.
I wanted a referral to the community pantry or emergency food stamps. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for the medical. All I wanted was emergency food stamps. So I walked to the offices with my 2 boys, and it was several miles to walk there. And I sat in there with everybody else that was applying or getting their assistance. And then I finally met with the caseworker, and I told her my story. And she said, "What does your husband do for a living?" I said, "He's a mechanic." She said, "Does he have tools?" And I said, "Yes." She says, "Well, he has to sell those tools before we can help you." And it's like, but if he sells the tools, then he'll never get a job. And when he asked for money from his dad said, "Well, I've got my own bills to pay, so I don't have any money for you." So we were really in bad shape. And I told her the whole story, and she said, "Next time you come in here, you need to come up with a better lie."
Oh my gosh.
She called me a liar and sent me away with nothing. And somebody somewhere must have heard something because somebody from the church down the street showed up with a big laundry basket of a Thanksgiving meal and food and everything for us. It was around that time of year.
Yeah.
And, that's one of those God moments where we didn't know what we were going to do. And my husband got a job right away. He told his dad, "You're on your own. I'm not working for you anymore." Yeah. But after that is when I started my food insecurity and always making sure that there was something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a moment and you kind of go, never again, never again. And
I came to the point where I went so far extreme the other way that I think it really affected my kids because for teenagers, you buy a 5-pound block of cheese and you come home from going to the post office and everybody in the neighborhood's watching TV, playing video games and eating that 5-pound block of cheese. Then I got to where I started locking the food up. And I had a bicycle chain around the refrigerator so they couldn't get in the refrigerator. And my daughter-in-law chimed in the other day and told me that I starved my children by locking the food up. It's like, no, they weren't starving. They just didn't have access to 5 pounds. Yes.
I'm going to say goodbye to you. Oh, it's been so wonderful having you here.
I've had a lovely, lovely time chatting.
Yeah, I think you've got to go rest your voice, don't you, Lynn? Okay. Bye.
Bye,
Talk
Alicia.
to you later.
Bye.
I really enjoyed my time with you.
Oh, yeah.
If we all lived closer, we'd get together for coffee.
Yes, we would. We would talk and talk and talk.
Forever.
But yeah, there's that defining moment when you kind of go, never again. I've always been a food hoarder ever since. Yeah. And doesn't matter where I've lived or where I've been at, I've always had a lot of extra. And I think like right now, especially right now with the prices rising and stuff, let's everybody, work on your food pantries, you guys. Yes. I think you better do it. I don't think we have a choice, or we're not going to have anything. I was in our local Walmart yesterday. Let's see, today's Wednesday. I went Monday, it was Monday. And I had to go to the grocery because when we got back, I need to go buy some stuff at the store because we've been out of town. And so I went to Walmart first, and they had one of their brand 24-pack of toilet paper. They had some of like Angel Soft, and then they had like the one they sell for it's real cheap, under $1. It's like 4 little rolls of, and they had like single toilet paper. They had some of that, but the big packs of their paper, it was the last 24, and I grabbed it because I try to stock up on the toilet paper. And
can I share something?
Yeah.
I want to share this, and I'll share it for everybody, and it's a little self-serving.
Okay.
I'll say it this way. I will email you a link, and if you'll put it in the comments so everybody can have it.
Okay.
There is a company where we get our toilet paper from, and the name of the company is Who Gives a Crap.
Oh.
Okay. And it is out of Australia, and they offer 2 types of toilet paper. One is recycled paper, like recycled newspapers and such, and the other is made out of bamboo. And it is shipped directly to my door. I never have to go buy toilet paper. It is plastic friendly because they don't wrap it in the plastic bags. It's all wrapped in beautiful paper that you can even use to rewrap gifts. I mean, I know that sounds crazy.
Oh,
but
no.
It's very high-end, beautiful looking toilet paper. And the cost is extremely comparable, if not less than what you get in the store. And the quality is superb. And the reason I say self-serving is because if I give you my link, and if somebody wants to buy toilet paper, they get $10 off their first order, and I get $10 off my next order.
Oh, cool.
But we have not purchased toilet paper in a store in over a year because they ship it straight to our house.
How many rolls do you get at a time?
We get the box, I believe, has 48 rolls in it. I believe they equate to like $1.12 a roll. That's the bamboo. I
was going to say that'd be the nicer, softer one.
I asked my son, I said, do you want to take a roll home and try it and see if you want? He goes, I'm afraid it's going to be like gas station toilet paper, slimy, and it's not. It really is a good quality TP. And I love that it comes right to your house. They don't charge shipping. They're eco-friendly. And they take 50% of their profits and they put it back into establishing and providing toileting and hand washing stations in third world countries so little children are not dying from cholera and dysentery. So 50% of what they make, they give back. And during the whole first year, when we were going through those shortages,
yes,
not one of their customers went without toilet paper.
Wow. Well,
so the packaging is cool, isn't it, DeGirly? Who Gives a Crap? Look it up if you're interested. Please hang on. I will make sure that I provide Ann with a link so you guys can see about getting $10 off of your first order. And you know what's fun too is sometimes, and I've never gotten it in time because they have these specials. They did one time where it was like the box that it's shipped in looks like a playhouse, like a theater playhouse for puppets.
So kids could use it.
You can take your toilet papers, the papers that were wrapped around the toilet papers, you could stack them and make like nutcrackers or snowmen. You could switch things around, and then it was like a little for your kids. But it was adorable.
Cute.
But
I know what I was going to ask you. How do you pay them since it is going to Australia?
Yeah, they take regular credit card.
They do.
It's a company out of Australia, but they do have it ships right here, I believe, from US, but their main company is in Australia.
Okay.
And look them up.
You think the toilet paper is like physically here in the States?
No, because the bamboo they have to source. You're not going to source the bamboo here.
Oh, yeah. I know they manufacture it there, but then okay.
But there's been no delays in shipping. I've had no problems because just a couple of months ago we ordered 2 boxes just in case.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you get the link to Girly. I will.
I think I would like it too, because yeah. So toilet paper, and I buy a lot of wipes, and I like these Assure ones. They're big, like a big washcloth.
Mm-hmm.
It's, so I mean, I do buy a lot of those. I was trying to think of what else. I have a closet that I have just shampoo and soaps in.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to think ahead of, what kind of stuff we need. I've tried to get people to see about getting me some wood for my fireplace, and nobody wants to respond to me on Facebook. So I've been looking around, and Walmart had bundles of firewood for $5 a bundle. So I go in there every once in a while. I don't know if they have any still. I need to go this week and go see. And I get 4 or 5 bundles, and I've been, putting these in the garage. I've been stacking wood bundles up, for the fireplace. We live in town, so we live in it's a little village, but so we have neighbors around, and we have a wood fireplace that we had looked at and inspected last fall. Said it was good to go. And so, so we've just been doing a fire like on a weekend, which is just real pretty while you're watching TV.
You know what you need to do?
What?
You need to get in touch with somebody with the city Parks and Recreation Department, or just the city in general. They will have somebody that cuts down dead trees that the city is responsible for, or tree limbs that are hanging out over the road, trees that fall, and you ask them, do you mark your trees before they're set to be cut? And if they do, like with a pink dot of spray paint or whatever, you watch for those. And when they cut them down, you swoop in and you put the stuff in the back of your truck. When we lived in California, I did that all the time. I figured out what the signal was to the streets company or Park and Recreation or whoever did it. I found out how they mark their trees that have to be cut down, and I would hit that street on that day that I knew something was coming. And when they would cut them all down, instead of them loading it up into the trucks or the chippers or whatever, I would just say, can I load up some firewood? And they would say, sure. And I'd load it up in the back of my minivan and take it home. I was
great.
Before I had the race car.
Great. Oh, before you had the race car. Yeah. Great idea. Because I do want to, I'm on the look. And when we went home, we took my car because of the gas prices instead of taking our truck, because, 4-cylinder versus 8-cylinder.
Well, sure.
But in retrospect, I could have got firewood when I was back home, and that kind of like, dang, we should have taken the truck, because I could have brought back a lot of wood, and I just didn't. But we did go to a couple of grocery stores, and I got I like Eckrich meat products, and those are sold, I guess it's regional. So it would be like the Midwest, like Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, and let's see what else in that area. And so I bought a whole bunch of Eckrich smoked sausage and kielbasa, and it's all skinless.
Mm-hmm.
And here where I'm at, they'd have some other funky brand, and I don't care for it.
You load up when you need something regional. You load up when you do. I'll tell you one thing
that
I
the
stocked
Fago
up
Pop
on.
is regional. So I
one thing I stocked up on that everybody thinks I'm absolutely stupid crazy for, but they're not laughing now, is when we first started really looking into really fortifying our pantry, I ordered off of a company online for TVP, which is texturized vegetable protein. So I have beefish chunks, chickenish chunks, ham chunks, and we purchased like big boxes, and then I put them in the Mylar bags and they're all tucked away. And excuse me, I can make chilies and stews and chicken pot pie. I can make all these things because I don't eat meat anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all stocked up in a very small area. I don't have to worry about my freezer going out. I don't have to worry about keeping something in the fridge. I've got all of that food. And right now where we live, a very thin, like ½ inch, if it's even that, ribeye steak, $19.97 a pound.
Isn't that terrible? Yeah.
And so hamburger is expensive. Chicken is expensive. Everything's expensive for the meat. And my son works with hogs. He has 3 farms with hogs that he helps manage and care for the hogs. And when we went through everything last year, he goes, I worked really hard to raise those pigs so they would be a good source for people. And he says, they just euthanized them all. There was no place to take them to process them. So the food's just being wasted.
Isn't that?
They shut down so many processing plants because people had the cough.
Yes.
And so there was nobody to process. So they had to do something with the animals. These people are businessmen. They're not going to keep feeding them. They euthanized them all.
My goodness. Terrible. I think I heard milk. They also got rid of milk.
Lots of milk, lots of potatoes, lots of things were just gotten rid of.
All of that. I mean, I know you can't process meat just anywhere, but all that other food could have gone to foodless or homeless shelters and food banks.
But you know, that milk would have had to have been pasteurized and processed and trucked, and somebody would have gotten sick because it wasn't pasteurized properly.
You know,
lawsuit, on and on
terrible.
And on and on. But I have all of that TVP in my pantry. And if we hit really hard times, that TVP is going to sustain us for a long time because I can make an entire pot of beef stew with just a half a cup of that TVP.
Right.
You know, it's going to last me a long time. And I have a lot of dehydrated foods too. And I will share with you, and I don't know if you had ever had a chance to see or hear about this, but you know, for the last couple of years, we've been getting the number 10 cans of dehydrated or freeze-dried food, Augustin Farms.
Yes, Augustin. I bought stuff too from them.
Last month, without warning, they shuttered.
Yes.
Now, they've put a spin on it.
For 3 months.
It didn't say that at first. I will share with you, and I've seen the evidence of it. At first, they said that they had entered into agreement with Homeland Security and were no longer going to be making their food available to the general public. Then they took that down. Then they said 90 days. Then they took that down. Now it's indefinite. And then they said it was a packaging thing. Well, the company that does all of their packaging is the same family that does the food. It's all one family. So something is not right. You can still get some things on Amazon or through Walmart.com, but you cannot buy anything on their website anymore.
I think the government's buying it, do it all for them.
And
I think it's the F and the A.
Yeah.
You gotta think in between.
I want to say, without possibly offending anybody, but the way you need to look at this is, and this is the truth. So it shouldn't be offensive, but when a Mormon-based family business for survival food pulls their food from the general public, you need to see that as a big, huge red flag.
Yeah,
because
I think so
the Mormons were very regimented.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
I'm on the air.
He's like, I'm out of here. Why?
Why don't you put some pot pies in the oven?
when a Mormon-based family like that, because they are very prepared, they are very family-oriented, people need to pay attention to that. And that is not a negative statement at all. It's just something that people need to pay attention to. And yes, milk powder. DeGurley is right. You need to buy milk powder, not powdered milk. They are two different things. Powdered milk is one thing. Milk powder is an entirely different thing. It's in how it's processed. They taste different. And the milk powder tastes better than powdered milk. And you can,
Augustin
that's
Farms
another
did
thing.
have that. They did have
Yeah.
Amazon. I think it's still, you can still get it on Amazon, I
You can
believe.
still get those things.
It's theirs is called Morning Moo. Morning
Yeah,
Moo.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also go, if you go to Walmart and you go into the ethnic or Hispanic food section, Nido, Nido by Nestle is a milk powder. And you can get that there. So when there was no milk on the shelves, I was like, well, let's go check out the ethnic shop, the aisle. And sure enough, there was the Nido. So we got some Nido. I always stock up on evaporated milk. I've always got at least 2 dozen cans of evaporated milk. And the last time I shopped, it was all gone.
That's what you make. That's what baby formula that my mom said she made for us when I was a baby. Evaporated milk and Karo syrup, and I don't know and what else you put in it, but there's a recipe you can probably get on the internet for baby formula. And so so there's a lot of things that we can do to help ourselves now before anything may happen in the future. And as the way things are going, I think anything is possible, and we should not be surprised. There's a lot of
it's my son says it's better to be prepared than paranoid, and it's also easier to ask forgiveness and permission. So you have got to take care of yourself.
And it's food insurance. It's we have health insurance, and why wouldn't we want to have food insurance? And I'll tell you what, I was telling you the story of before we came here, that my husband, lost his job, and we were fine. We had food. We had food. We had toilet paper. We had paper towels. We had everything that we needed. We didn't miss a beat on anything.
Right.
And you just absolutely don't know what tomorrow may bring. It could bring happiness or it could bring a tragedy. We just don't know. So you do have to kind of be prepared.
You have to be prepared.
And mentally, and if you have if you have food in your cupboard and and some water stored up. We have had our water here turned off several times since we've been here, but we've been fine because I had water stored. We couldn't use our bathroom and for a little while. And so I have a porta potty. So it worked out good. I mean, you have to have these things and be thinking ahead a little bit,
absolutely.
I mean, I know people that just buy groceries. They don't have nothing, in their house, and they'll go to the store when they need it. I know somebody who buys fresh meat every day because he doesn't like frozen. So he has to go to the store every day and buy meat for dinner. And I'm like, whoa. And,
someday it's not going to be there.
Yeah. You just absolutely. We don't know. So anyhow, these are the kinds of things that I'm sure we'll be talking with Survival Living. And so hopefully he'll teach some senior citizen grannies some new skills.
The girl is right. Hoosier Hill Farms. That's another great resource.
Yes. Hoosier Hills. Yes.
Online. My issue right now is my pantry is so well stocked, not only with home canned goods, but also store-bought canned goods and then stuff that I buy online. But now with my diabetes diagnosis, I can't eat any of it safely.
Yes. Well, you're going to be able to. That's a whole nother subject. I've had, I did. So have you been to a diabetic educator?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It'll be coming.
So yeah, I was going to say, so I had to do that. And a few years ago when I got the diagnosis, and they really give you some tips, and you can learn to live with real food. It's mostly just, cutting out, like your white things, bread. Well, bread, I buy diet bread that's like 40 calories, and then it's like 9 calories or 9 carbs. You know what I mean? A slice, net carbs like 9. Yeah. So you just have to kind of keep it on the low.
See, I have 5-gallon buckets with bundles of flour to bake my own bread. So I'll have to
that's good.
A bundle, and it's white flour, so I'm going to have to mix it with whole wheat and start.
Yeah. You're just gonna there's things you can do, and and just got to experiment. And like I said, I was telling you, I'm gonna make the fat bombs out of coconut oil and cocoa, and you put a little vanilla in it, and then honey. It says raw honey. And so I've got all that. So I'm going to try making some of those. I bought a candy mold at Hobby Lobby over So I'm going to try to make some of, those fat bombs for me. And you have to keep them in the freezer so they'll melt. And because I have to have my chocolate. I still have to have my chocolate,
I
So
did treat myself to some Russell Stover's sugar-free
yes.
little chocolates the other day. I only have one at a time, one a day.
They're so addictive. I buy those because
don't eat
we
too
like
many.
them.
Your tummy will not be happy. The girlie bought 5-gallon buckets and 25 pounds of rice. We got buckets and we got the gamma lids. So look into getting the gamma lids. They're much easier to open and close, keep things sealed. Make sure you put a couple of bay leaves in with your rice. I've got in my pantry, I probably have 20 buckets at least.
Well, old Major finally showed.
Hey, hello.
We do a salute. So Lynn had to leave.
I'm going to do a crochet hook salute.
Okay, so salute, Major. I'm getting ready to say goodbye. You're going to have to.
You missed so much.
You missed such a great show. You missed
the midday muffin? Is that what you called it?
Mm-hmm.
You got to see that.
Yeah, we did something called a midday muffin.
Oh, it was
with Alicia.
And
we had a lot of fun.
And you got to look up the Betty White skit.
Okay, midday muffin, Betty White.
Yes.
Well, Alicia, I'm gonna have to go. It's dinner time for us.
For you. Hopefully we'll be home soon, and I've done nothing all day but spend time with friends.
Oh, this has been so pleasant. Such a nice visit with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a wonderful time with you ladies.
Oh, and I know you're coming. I got you down for September for
We'll see you before then, I think.
Yes. I mean, we can.
Huh? I feel like you ladies are my new bosom friends.
We are.
Do you love Anne of Green Gables?
Yes.
I'm often referred to as being like her, so I like to say I have bosom friends.
Yes. Well, yes, and we're bosoms.
We've got the bosoms.
We've got the bosom.
I was going to say that. The pen out. Major, she already pen saluted you, and I saluted you with a crochet hook. It's been done.
Where you been? Are you
right?
Where you been, buddy? You're late.
We're here.
You're late. But
thank you, everybody in the chat. And I apologize if I didn't respond to the chat a lot. I can't type in it because.
Yeah.
Okay. So seriously, where's my pen? Here, I have a lip gloss. Will that work? I'm in a craft room. What more do you want from me?
I think you've done well. I mean, now he's just being picky.
I can salute you with, an Amish doll. I don't know what else to do.
Oh, goodness sakes. Oh, that's adorable. Well, I think we better go.
Yes.
I think we better go. But anyhow, we will do granny kisses. You're a grandma.
I'm a grandma.
Oh, no. I know how we can go out. Where's your crown?
Oh, you want the crown?
Yes. Please.
Well, the major didn't get to see the crown.
I know. So I'm going to put my tiara on, which is like a crown, kind of.
There's that sexy hair.
Yeah.
Can you imagine walking in this thing?
No. Not in high heels or anything. All right. So we're going to do the crowns out. How would that be?
Well, we will end it with a kiss so we can call it.
Oh, we'll do the granny kisses now. Thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you, moderators. It's been so much fun. Thank you, Lynn. I know you're probably watching. Bless her heart. She kind of talked all she could. And
are you going to do your tiara wave out? Remember?
Yes. And Alicia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really had a good time.
Wonderful.
I did too. Okay, now you said it was
elbow, wrist. Wipe a tear. Blow a kiss. And that is your beauty pageant wave.
Beauty pageant wave out, and a salute.
And a salute to the major.
And a salute. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.